to Sean Lucas, author of Driveway Modding Warrior. I like driveway mods.
Yep.
Remember those slot cars you used to have as a kid? Well, I had one.
I did too.
I was the only one because they were expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Jeff's got a feature on slot cars and participating in league racing and all of the good stuff that we had. Jeff has a feature on them, and later we talk Christmas gifts for the enthusiast with John Rawson from Pro-Am Auto Accessories. Conrad has the Car Clinic, and as always, we look at the auto news headlines this week. Just ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us today. And speaking of joining us, we have joining us from merry old England, we have Mr. Sean Lucas. Sean, good morning to you, and thanks for joining us well, for you, it's not so early. It's a nice afternoon. Time for tea.
Good afternoon, guys. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here with you once again. And yes, it's always time for tea here.
Yeah, we were just talking off the air there a little bit ago. I think we had you on once before.
About a year.
About a year ago.
Yes.
What was the subject then?
So that chat this time last year was Driveway Detailing Warrior.
Driveway Detailing Warrior. So,
which was about detailing your ride, and this is obviously modding your ride.
Modding, yeah. So modifications to your ride and
in the driveway.
In the driveway, yeah. So
DIY.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just get right into it. What kind of mods do you feel that we can do in the driveway that are easy to do, besides changing hubcaps?
All sorts, guys, all sorts of mods you can do in the drive. The book describes in detail my 10 favourite driveway mods, some of which involve lifting the car, some don't. So first thing to do is get yourself a basic toolkit, which most petrol heads would have anyway, but you would be surprised what you can achieve on the driveway and with really good quality too.
Well, I mean, there's so many modifications. I mean, I can think of a dozen of them. Even wheels. You can change your wheels right there in the driveway. Just take it up to the tire store, have the old tires dismounted, and then mounted to new wheels. That's a pretty easy one to do.
We know someone that's done that.
Yes, we do. Yours truly just did that last week, as a matter of fact.
I did my Yukon in the driveway when before sent it off to college with Austin. Put a leveling kit on it. Because typically the GM trucks are a little high in the back, so I just put new rear springs on. It was actually kind of easy to do. I did it in the driveway.
Yeah,
surprised myself.
You can change them, guys, of course, or you can refurbish them, change the color, change the finish, and you can do all of that yourself at home. Spray cans.
It's funny.
And you'd be surprised at what a great result you can achieve.
And it makes the car look completely different. I had a 1954 Chevrolet pickup truck. Yes, I did. A 3/4 ton with a shift-it-yourself kind of gearbox in it that had a granny first gear in it that was so low it was pretty much worthless, but whatever. And it was dumpy, and what I did was I got don't laugh, we didn't use spray cans back then. I should have, but I had a can, I think a quart can of gloss black paint, and so painted the wheels with a brush. And then the snap ring that was on those particular wheels, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
I painted that white. The tire was black. Made the whole truck look completely different.
Beauty rings. They call those beauty rings.
Well, they weren't beauty rings back then. They were actually part of the wheel. And they snapped onto the actual wheel itself because there was no way that you could get the tires on without beating them on, and so they had that.
So it was a split rim?
A split ring on it, yes. And
that's actually pretty dangerous.
They are. They're terribly dangerous.
That's why they have those cages in some of those tire places.
Exactly. Well, I didn't change that. All I did was paint it. Yeah, no, there was no way I was going to.
Brush painted your wheels?
Yes.
Wow.
Of course, remember, I was probably 13, 14 years old.
Oh, that's
They
fine.
didn't have spray
They
cans
didn't have
yet.
aerosol cans out yet.
Yeah, they did, but I couldn't afford it, and I found a can of gloss black paint and painted it with a brush. Why not? It was a truck.
Yeah. 50 whatever.
Hey, if it made you happy, why not?
Absolutely, and it did.
So what is the most popular mod that you see, Sean?
that people can do in their drive.
Yeah.
It has to be the wheels. Yeah, I mean, you can absolutely transform your ride by refurbishing the wheels. You know how it goes, guys, with the problem with curbing and curb rash. It can really ruin the look of your ride. But with a bit of time and endeavour, you can really, really bring them up and make them look brand new. Change the colour, change the finish. It makes a hell of a difference.
Sure. And the way that spray can paints are now, if you're adept at that sort of thing, I think that you can have a pretty good result in the end. But you got to take your time and really know how to do it.
And now they have that little color ring you can put on your wheel that's to help for curb, so you don't scratch it on the curb.
Well, and also the shaker cans or the paint cans have evolved and developed better over the years. So it's not like used to be in the day where you get the globs coming out and didn't work all the time. So that's evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
definitely.
what's another popular mod? I guess some interior stuff too as well.
Racing stripe on the bonnet always adds 20 brake horsepower, guys, did you know?
On the bonnet.
Yeah.
On the bonnet, yes, exactly.
Painting your brake calipers can really lift the car as well.
Lots of people do that.
Yes.
That's easily done on the driveway. And then you've got the de-chroming. You probably noticed a lot of the modern cars have this rather unpleasant fake chrome. And a lot of modders like to make those matte black or satin black. And I think that, I think that looks nice. You can do that at home. Do you know what the most important mod that I think there is there, guys?
Tell me.
I think it's modifying your driving skill.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Chapter 9 in the book is Mod the Modder. Talks about the thrilling process of undertaking driver tuition on a track day. So where you go down to your local racetrack in your own car, you have tuition about how to drive rapidly but safely. And there's a whole chapter on that about how you prepare your car, how you get down to the racetrack and have driving tuition. It's absolutely thrilling. I'm sure some of you guys have done that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And what you learn on the track will 100% make you a faster, safer driver on the public roads as well.
No doubt, yeah. And,
get a coach to ride in the car with you, kind of tell you what you're doing right and wrong.
And that also makes
it's fantastic fun, guys.
Yeah, it makes a great Christmas gift, too. Buy a ticket for your friend to go down there, husband, wife, girlfriend, whatever, to go down to, for instance,
MSR.
Yep.
I think Richard's talked about that. They have the Mercedes dealership sponsors MSR, and they got a bunch of Mercedes that you can go out with a coach and
you can do it that way, or take your own car, like he's suggesting.
And they have a.
What petrol head wouldn't love a gift like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next on the list?
Well, you've got what do we look at? We look at tinting your tail lights, making them a little darker. That modernises the look of the car very effectively.
Well, there's regulations for that. You can't always get them that dark.
No, we're talking subtle mods, guys. We're not talking black.
We're not talking about Don's black can of paint.
Well, there are covers for lights and headlights and things that people put on to make the aesthetics during the day, but you have to take them off at night.
No, you can control how dark you go by how many coats of smoke you use.
Oh,
but I think that really modernises the back end.
Yeah, well, it certainly gives it a different look.
Yeah, and there's loads of little projects you can do.
Well, here's another one.
Cold air
I
intakes.
had this done a couple years ago now, I had LEDs put on the Corvette.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and boy, did it improve things a lot. You can do that in the driveway yourself. Buy the kit and go for it. It's pretty easy, and the instructions are pretty easy as well.
Yeah.
Just take some time. That's all.
Cold air intakes are probably easy enough to do in the driveway.
Yep.
You did the Ripper shifter, or the Hurst shifter.
Yeah.
In the
Pistol
driveway.
grip shifter, yeah. I put the pistol grip in there. Jeff helped me, and well, actually, Jeff did most of the work.
Yeah.
So, at any rate, get a buddy with you and make a day of it, and cook some hot dogs, and you're good to go.
Sounds great.
Or a pint of beer. For over there?
Pint of lager.
Lager, there you go.
Ale.
That's right.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Well, and that's something, we've talked to different car clubs, and everybody kind of go over to one guy's house, and they'll help him mod his car as a car club, and, you get 5 or 6 guys, all of a sudden you can do
absolutely.
a lot of things to a car in one afternoon.
Jason used to do that. His buddies, they would go to one house for one weekend and then go to another house for another weekend, and that's how you got your stuff done.
Yep. Yeah, I did that
It's important to sorry guys, it's important to remember though that subtle, tasteful mods can definitely increase the value of the car, but if you get it wrong, you can also diminish the value.
That's a good point.
Make it worse. So, you've got to read up on the book, and subtle is the way forward, I think.
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind, here in Texas, trucks are huge.
And a gun rack in the back window.
Oh, yeah.
That's subtle.
That's subtle. I wouldn't do that, but lift kits, trailer hitches, rock rails with steps that bolt on.
Lighting upgrades, winches.
Yep.
All of that stuff is.
Forgot about that, yeah.
And
Big brake kits. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. There's so many different things that you can do. Map it out over the year, and if you're going to go with a big, expensive one, got plenty of time to save up. Hey, I'm going to get this done by next Christmas, and
invite everybody over to do it.
Right.
And that's one advantage of doing that is I get to go over to somebody else's house and learn how to do something on their car before I mess it up on my car.
Amen to that.
And the smart person's going to bring somebody over that knows what they're doing, and everybody gets educated on it. You hear about that with the Jeep people all the time.
The smart person invites somebody over with the beer.
That's right. The beer and the tools.
Yeah.
Because it goes a lot quicker that way.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but the book focuses on projects that the average petrol head can do themselves, using day-to-day hand tools, a hydraulic trolley jack, a torque wrench. You can do most jobs with basic everyday tools.
And the other thing is too, you mentioned a torque wrench. They're a lot cheaper now than they used to be.
Yeah.
But if you don't even want to do that, you could probably rent one at your local Advance Auto Parts or the parts store.
Yeah.
Auto parts store usually has
Tools available.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a torque
Hey
wrench.
guys,
Yeah.
£25 these days, guys, for a decent torque wrench that you look after it. Will keep going for years.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, George Skelton, for supplying me.
But that's
with one.
not foot pounds. That's regular pounds as in British money.
I was
Pounds
thinking the same
sterling.
thing.
There's that.
Newton meters or foot pounds, guys?
No, Newton
Newton
meter.
meters. Yeah, matter of fact, Cadillac has taken up the use of Newton meters.
Instead of
For
torque.
years, yeah.
Instead of foot pounds of torque.
or cubic inches or
Yep.
liters or whatever. Yeah. So we got the Cadillac CTS 350.
Right.
But it's 350 Newton meters of torque.
Of
Yeah.
output.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all metric over here.
Yeah.
Yes, we know.
And it's totally confused everybody.
Yeah.
Totally confused
Yep.
everybody over here. Yeah.
Well, in the
okay.
book, I convert all my Newton meter measurements to foot pounds as well. So I've got your back, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much. How long did it take you to write this book?
6 months.
And is this a lot of stuff that you've personally done?
I've done everything. Yeah, I've done all of the projects. I couldn't write about something that I hadn't done myself.
What kind of car did you do?
Photos along the way.
What kind of car did you
my
do these mods on?
I did them on my Mark 7 VW Golf and on my 987 Porsche Cayman.
Oh, okay. Fun car.
Yeah, very fun
I have
car.
no idea what those are. I know the Golf, but I don't know the other one.
The Porsche?
The Cayman
Oh, the Porsche.
Cayman's
Cayman Porsche. Okay.
Yeah.
level below the 911.
Two-seater. Yeah,
Yeah,
little roadster.
exactly.
Great fun.
So where do we find the
Drive.
book?
You will find the book on Amazon.
Yes.
All on all the Amazon territories. Amazon USA, Amazon Canada, everywhere else.
Find it on our social media. 'cause
And
I've already put a link
Yeah.
And on the
to
book
it.
selling page on Amazon, guys, you can use the Look Inside feature to browse the introduction and chapter 1, so you can try it before you buy it.
Little interview there,
What could be better?
There you
A
go.
preview of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Sean, it's great talking to you, and we really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about Driveway Modding Warrior by Sean Lucas.
Yeah.
Likewise.
So if
Been
you're,
a pleasure,
you're
guys.
looking for something for your automotive enthusiasts, go out to Amazon and check his book out.
Yeah, exactly.
You still got time to get it.
And you can also go and get yourself a pint of beer. It's 2:00 in the afternoon
Lager.
over there.
Lager.
Lager.
Lager?
Well, he's in a lagers.
Well, it's 8:16 here. We could do the same thing.
We could. Yeah,
I'm
we could.
gonna have one now.
Okay. Sean, great talking to you. Thanks so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Us too. All right. Sean Lucas, author of Driveway Modding Warrior. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. Our address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Or not. Racing, we made a mistake a couple of weeks ago.
No.
By saying, yeah, we did.
No.
By saying the racing season is over. Well, it's over for most of the professional, well-known series.
Yeah.
But not so much for,
Some of the smaller stuff.
like, the winged warriors that do the dirt track stuff.
Yep.
And so we have to kind of make a dividing line in which ones we're going to announce and talk about
Find
here.
a balance.
Yeah, and we typically don't talk about the local short track stuff, although there's fewer and fewer of them every year, it seems.
There's a lot of turmoil going on with change of drivers, teams, and all that stuff. Formula One's got a lot of stuff
And
going on.
a lot of stuff going on in NASCAR,
Oh,
too.
yeah. Yep. So-
and in NHRA.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You see where Leah Pruitt has said, I think I'm going to stay back and have babies. And so her husband...
Tony's going to jump in a top fuel. I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, but he was not the first choice to fill the seat.
No, he wasn't. Somebody else was, and they backed out.
Yep.
And Tony said,
Hold
I'll
my
do it.
beer, watch this.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that going on.
Well, as far as racing goes, the other thing is what's going on in IMSA. So Chevrolet, the GTLM series has ended. So the Chevrolet sponsorship of Corvette has ended in like the 24 hours of Daytona and stuff. Now there'll still be some Corvettes racing, but they're going to be privateer cars now, as opposed to the ever dominant Corvette racing.
Well, you know what I
Sponsorships.
found interesting with all of that is the fact that it looks like General Motors is putting a lot of effort, or a lot more effort, into the Cadillac stuff racing.
Yep.
Yeah,
They got my letter.
Finally.
yeah. And so, actually, I'm kind of excited about that.
Well, I'm excited to see if they finally get it all put together to go F1 racing, which looks like they will
Yep,
if
yep.
they can get all the whiny babies to
Well,
quit
let me
complaining.
ask you something.
Toto Wolff.
Let me just throw this out there. The Chevrolet Camaro production ended this week.
Yep.
Done. Okay, so now what are we going to use
Again.
NASCAR
for NASCAR? How about a Cadillac?
CT5.
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think they'll get Cadillac in. I don't know if Cadillac may have run some cars back in the
No,
50s
not in
and
NASCAR.
60s.
Probably not. And once they got off the beach, I think that was pretty much over with, because Cadillac got that big, floaty, big thing going down the road. Well, Cadillac is, taking a different
got
street
the big
these
chrome
days.
horn
Yeah,
up
but
front with the Dagmars.
With the
that push them
Dagmars
out of
on
the
it.
way.
That's exactly
I could see it. You got the Toyota Camry, you've got the Ford Mustang, and you got an Escalade.
Yeah.
Escalade.
For the truck
That'd be
series, anyway. No, I don't think I don't think it'll be Cadillac. I don't think that's not their market. It still comes down to money. They could get out and play in the F1 and the road course.
So what are they going to do? They're going to hang on to the Camaro for next year?
Yeah, I think they get a couple of 3 years of grace of body styles for the future. You got to think it happens to Erica and her Camaro in NASCAR, in NHRA as well. What are they going to do? I truly believe that they have been building that Ford program with the Quadras all along to let Erica move into a Ford.
Interesting. All right. Time now for our feature this hour.
Speaking of racing,
Jeff has a feature on slot cars. Remember slot cars? I do.
Yep. Well, and this is because it's wintertime. What do you do in the winter? Some people go skiing. Not everybody can afford that. Bowling is another one, an indoor sport. And people at home did this, and they did it
ice fishing?
Ice fishing, yeah. Let's go ice fishing. Long before the popularity of racing cars, racing video games, the slot car craze in the 60s and 70s had young people and their parents obsessed with racing scale models. In the 60s, home versions of the slot car racing tracks were available, but that wasn't the only place to race. You could find places all over the U.S. where you could go racing. If you had a car, you could do that. You could set up a track at home. But in the 60s, there were about 2,700 places across the country you could do this. Large slot car tracks built to accommodate racers in hobby shops, and places build themselves as little mini raceways. You had to pay to go in. There was an hourly fee, much like you guys know that. Have a slot car. You could also rent one. It's basically like a bowling alley, which Don just said. You've got different controllers. You got pistol grips. You got manually regulated finger grips and things. The newer grips have push button and thumbs and all that good stuff. While the physical activity required to drive a slot car was limited, racing scale models went from 0 speeds to 100 miles an hour per scale in a split second, and that was required. Like real racing, you go fast as you possibly can. You full speed down the straightaway, slow down in the turn. Can you make the turn? Can you get through the turn? Can you get the drift without flying off the track? That was a big problem. In 1963, the U.S. Championship slot car racing was live on TV. Where was it, Mike? It was on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. That's how popular it was.
How funny. I didn't know that.
However, the popularity of racing cars decelerated quickly. It slowed down in the 70s with the advent of all the electronic toys, personal computers, video games, and it really slowed down. But along comes COVID, and people wanted to bring something back. Parents thought, what did they do when they stayed home? Well, when they were young, so they introduced the kids to slot car racing. The physical experience of slot car racing is different than racing on a video game. It's a communal experience. Rather than sitting in front of a TV screen playing alone, this is having a group of friends playing racing games with the family. The new generation of Carrera tracks, which is actually called Carrera Revel Americas, who owns the big operation of these tracks, to include updated scale models for the racing enthusiasts and tailored for little home kits and things. I had one. Don had one. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like 6 different scales, HO, all the way up to 1/18th scale. With 1/18th, they're like 10 inches to 12-inch cars. Now, how much do we do this? Well, back in the day, don't know how much it is right now, but back in the day, $8 would get you track time for an hour. If you didn't have a car, you could spend $12 and they'll let you rent a car and you still have the same track time. Now, if you wanted to go competitive racing, $7.50 for an hour, and you get 30 minutes of open practice, 8 heats, which last about 3 to 5 minutes. So, not only that, in slot car racing, but you have dragsters as well.
And the cars were extremely customizable,
I got it.
A lot of the cars would come as a clear body, and you'd paint it yourself.
Yeah, and you painted the inside.
Well,
it had that nice shiny finish when you got finished.
And then all the different modifications you could do as far as motor and tires and gearing and stuff.
The brushes, little motors, how they're wired. The more wiring, the faster you go. And as you saw in some of the pictures there, 2, 4, 6, or 8 lane tracks. 2 were the home, 4 were more of a commercial, and then you get up to 8, sometimes 10. Depending on how it was.
And there was a slot car track up in the Cypress area for a number of years. I think it has since closed.
I think there were two. There was one actually down in Sugar Land, but it was a small little hobby shop.
Yeah. And I'm sure the hobby shop, that's why they had the tracks, was because they were the ones selling the product.
Right,
It was a revenue stream as well as getting people in there. I mean, some guys would show up with like little tackle boxes, and they'd have their cars all in their deals, and they'd have tires, and it
wasn't a little tackle box. They brought the big tackle box.
Yeah. That was the guys that had enough money to put some serious money.
Look like Mars's stuff over here.
Exactly. Our remote.
I showed up with my car in my shirt pocket, and that was about it.
My car was, I guess, about that big. I don't know what size
you
that
had the
was.
big ones.
Well, I'll tell you.
I only had one.
The HO were 2.5 inches to 3 inches long.
That's the size of a matchbox.
The 1.43 scale was 4.3 inches long, right around 4 inches long. The 132nd scale was 5 inches to 6 inches. And then the 124 was 7 inches to 8 inches. And then the 118 scale was the 10 to 12 inches.
Yeah.
The bigger you went on this, like the 132nd up to the 118, those things would fly.
They would.
Yeah. To a point
you had
of being
to have
dangerous.
bigger tracks and more room for the
longer
track
tracks.
because they were wider.
Exactly.
And truly, the aerodynamics of the body style you chose had an impact on the performance of the car.
That's right.
I don't think they were putting them in wind tunnels.
Scale. But they were a lot of those bodies were designed after
real cars,
current race cars and stuff. So those aerodynamic tendencies were brought to those.
And some of them
cars.
were bodied over the wheels and tires. Others weren't. They were open wheel.
No, there's a bunch of information out there on this on the internet, so check it out. Go do it.
Thank you, Jeffrey. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube at InWheelTime.com. Podcasts at your fingertips and over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupe Tortilla Restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupe Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupe Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupe Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupe Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupe's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupe Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupe Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InRealTimeCarTalk.
It is the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, John Rawson from Pro-Am Car Accessories talks gifting ideas for the Christmas car geek in your family. Conrad's going to have the In Real Time Car Clinic, and we'll also have this week's Auto News just ahead. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us on this Saturday. And you haven't been outside since you walked in. Well, I will tell you, it is spectacular outside.
Is it?
Wash the car, get out, and enjoy the ride. Get out of town.
Well, we were talking about that earlier, that we had this big threat of flooding rains over the night.
Didn't happen.
Well, I guess in his part of the neighborhood.
Up where I live, it rained pretty hard.
Yeah, it kind of sprinkled here, and that was about it. So
can I give a shout out to
yes,
Bruce West?
Do.
Bruce West, a good friend of the show, a car guy, Corvette guy, won a trophy at Lupe Tortilla not long ago. Had a little ailment. He's back on his feet again, so we just want to wish Bruce a good recovery, and we're praying for you, buddy.
Get well soon.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this guy doesn't really need an introduction, but I guess we're going to give it to him.
Let's give him one.
Yeah, he's John Rawson, Pro-Am Accessories. He's with us this morning. John, good morning. I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you loud and clear, brother. Well,
all right.
How are things over at Pro-Am?
Man, we're moving and shaking still. I'll walk you guys around the shop here in a minute, but yeah, we're staying busy. We're selling car accessories, truck accessories, all kinds of goodies for your car and truck, and we're doing lots of work out back too, working on all kind of foreign cars, old trucks. I can show you guys a neat old Ford F-100 I've got out back for a customer. If you want to take a look at that in a little bit.
I'm surprised that that's not your truck.
No, it's not. But it is a neat truck, and every once in a while I fancy having one because they're dead simple to work on too. I really enjoy it.
What do you drive as your daily driver?
That Beetle convertible behind you?
No, that's my permanent installation. It's like an art installation here, I guess.
Yeah.
No, right now I'm driving an old 98 Porsche Boxster. I picked it up a couple years ago, and I really enjoy driving that little car. It's fun.
Yeah, well, you got to drive it gingerly because, you don't want anybody to run into it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if I feel like I do have an older Suburban as well. That's my, go to Home Depot kind of vehicle. So
yeah, your beater.
My beater,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's my beater. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, how are things in the where we are now in the store? Anything new and exciting that you want to share with us?
Well, to be honest, I'll walk around here. Let me switch the camera so you don't have to look at me all the time.
Good. We love you, John, but not that much.
Yeah, there we go. Okay,
there you go. Yeah.
You know that you guys have seen the Beetle before, I believe. So
it's the little sister to your Boxster.
Yeah, well, this one I've had for a really long time, and my goal was to restore it and drive it around and stuff, and that still is the goal, but it's just taking its time.
I think you were looking on the interior the last time we talked. Weren't you doing something in the interior?
I don't think I've worked on it much since the last time we talked, quite frankly. So.
Yeah.
But that's good. I've been busy with
Did you just lose interest, or are you just too darn busy in the shop?
A little of both. Mostly I'm too busy. But anyway.
That's the excuse you're going to go with today.
Yeah.
That's the excuse today. So, yeah, we still do aftermarket seating. So if you need a sports seat or a racing seat or something in your sports car or pickup truck, we've got lots of that stuff.
How much are seats going for? Give me a price range.
We carry Corbeau as the brand primarily. Yeah. That's what we're doing the most of. And you can get a set of these pretty affordable for $600 or $700
a piece.
For a pair.
Oh.
And then they go up from there. Of course, they have like this one right here. Those are about $1,100 for a pair. after it's all said and done. So not too bad.
What makes them so expensive?
The price?
I guess all the materials. Yeah, the price.
Smart ass.
It's
Now,
one
the
of those
racing
days,
seats,
John.
like we do, we do racing shell type seats for people that take their cars to the track, and these can get pretty crazy expensive. This particular one here it's about $1,500.
Wow.
So
For one seat,
and they can get real expensive because they're made out of carbon fiber as opposed to fiberglass on some of the models and stuff, and so that can really up the price. So
Do they make a desk chair chassis for them so you could get one of those seats and just strap it onto a desk
same
chair?
thing. They look like one of those gamer chairs.
Well, I think the gamer chairs are actually more like copies of these. If I had to,
that's what it looks
had to
like.
guess.
Yeah.
I do have a chair that I sit at my desk that is an old racing seat that's mounted on an office base. So we actually can do that too if you want. If you wanted to put one of these in your
That's what we need for the studio.
in your office, or we've actually sold these to guys that have built their own little gaming or their driving simulator deals.
Yeah.
And so they'll actually use these seats and stuff. So
Keeps them from falling out, right?
right.
Yeah.
So we also carry
wheels.
We do carry some wheels. I don't do a ton of wheels anymore, but yeah, we do, especially for track day cars. That we'll mount the racing rubber on them and stuff, and we can do all kind of stuff like that. I don't do a lot of like the big truck wheels and all that kind of stuff. There's too many other shops doing that, so we don't.
It's a lot
mess with those
a lot
too
of
much.
inventory to have that selection on.
I see that you got a
That's a lot.
selection of helmets there as well.
Yeah. Yes. We've always kind of been the go-to place here in Houston for racing gear. So we have, if you're going to be going to the track, whether it's just a one-time deal or if you're going to really get into the sport, we've got everything you need.
Yeah,
helmets, shoes, gloves, suits.
Yeah, there's Don's shoes.
Yeah, we're pointing out the shoes up
Don's
there.
red shoes.
Red pumps.
Yeah,
they
we've
don't
got
have
red shoes.
They don't have a heel on them.
We've got the head and neck restraints and all that sort of fun stuff.
Well, you need that with red pumps.
That's right.
They had neck restraints.
Of course, we do suspension work, brake work.
What kind of brakes do you carry, John? What kind of brakes do you carry?
Willwood primarily.
Willwood.
If you're going to do an upgrade,
Yeah.
we're a Willwood dealer. But I can also get Brembo. We've also been a long time Brembo dealer. But don't do a ton of those just because they're really pretty pricey. But they are excellent systems.
Right. Yeah.
So let's see. Let me walk around back here. So you talk about gifts for Christmas. Some of the easiest stocking stuffer type stuff we've got license plate frames that have your make on them. Lots of these. And then we have a lot of car care products. People drive from all over to come get some of our car care products because we're the only place that carries some of this stuff. So like the Class A, which is a German product. We carry the Zepp line of cleaners and tire shine and stuff. That stuff is, I can barely keep this stuff in stock, this tireless shine. Most people say it's one of the very best tire dressings that you can use. It doesn't wash off. It stays on. Your tires stay looking good for a really long time.
So it doesn't sling up onto your quarter
I
panel?
was thinking the same thing.
No, it doesn't do that either. Because it's an aerosol spray-on, it's really easy to modulate and not overdo it. When you use the stuff that's a squirt pump or like a wipe-on type deal, that stuff is what really flings off. So,
And then
let's see.
do you sell gift cards for people who want to get their cars serviced?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. We do. We do that as well. So whatever you need, come on in. We've got, good AMSOIL, Redline synthetic oils, octane boosters, Polydyne TX7, which, this is a local company. I don't know. Have you guys had them on your show before?
No.
They're an excellent shop. They also do, they do the ceramic coating of like pistons and headers and all of that stuff too. I have a set of headers on my race car that they coated with that Cerakote stuff. It's like they use it for they also do like guns and stuff where they coat the mechanisms and stuff.
Oh wow!
So Polydyne, it's been around a long time. Like I said, it's a local company here in Houston, and they're great people. So let's see.
And where are you guys located at?
Oh, well, I should tell you that. We are at 6125 Richmond. That's in the Galleria area. It's between Hillcroft and Fountain View on Richmond, at the corner of Green Ridge and Richmond.
You've only been there 100 years.
Yeah, we've only been here since like 1983 or 4. So
I remember going out there when I was with Keystone to talk to you.
That's right. Yep, I remember. That was a
Long
few
time
years
ago.
Yeah.
So John, the little oil check things.
Yes.
Oil
The
check
dipster.
thing.
I cannot think of the name of them.
He's a car guy. He knows that.
Yeah,
No, it's the,
The
little
dipster.
kind of
Dipster. I got those for my grandkids. I got them when they started driving. I got them all. I got one granddaughter. She still got it under the hood of her car because it's magnetic.
Yeah.
She still don't know what it's
What
for.
is it?
She doesn't know.
No,
It's a little wiping
Wiper.
device so you could wipe the
It's-
oil off your
it's
dipstick.
got a
when you
magnetic
check it.
base, and so you can put it under the hood of
Yeah.
your car, and it's always there to check your oil.
Gotcha.
And it's really
So yeah,
neat.
it's
Yeah,
we've
it'd be even
got
neater
plenty
if
of
she
these.
knew how to use it.
Yeah.
Did
That's
Grandpa?
what she's got Grandpa for.
Exactly.
Hey,
The others
Grandpa,
seem
will you
to
go
have
out
taken
and
on
check
to
my
it, but
oil?
it's small. You know, John's got one right there. It's small, and
yeah.
if you're someplace in Dallas or someplace and you can't get to John's shop, you can get this on Amazon.
You're a real
That's right.
dipster.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sell this, and we
As
sell a lot
opposed
of
to
the
a
other
hipster.
products on Amazon as well. So you can actually go to Amazon and look up my Amazon store. It's just called Pro-Am Auto, and on Amazon, and
There you go.
shop to your heart's delight.
Yeah. I love that little thing.
I'm delighted
Yeah,
just
that's-
talking to you and getting this personal tour of the store.
Yeah.
Right? Here, let me go out back and show you that Ford real quick.
I want to see the what you got cooking out in the shop. Do you give shop tours now and then?
Sure. Every week, people come in and want to see what we're doing. So this is still my other personal project. This is our endurance track car that we started LS swapping a couple of years ago, and it's still sitting here too. So
It's a work in progress.
work in progress. Don't look at any of my mess. Sorry.
You could enter that in the
Need to
limits.
put an LS in that Volkswagen.
Ha. Yeah. So this is a 73.
Wow.
Can y'all see it?
Yep.
Yeah, clean.
Yeah, it's a pretty truck. I've done a lot of work to it. We put air conditioning in it. It's a 390 big block, so it's a lot of fun. It's here now for well, I'm not even going to bother trying to open the hood.
What kind of gas
Oh,
mileage
oh.
that thing get, John?
Doesn't.
I don't think it does. It has 2 gas tanks. You know, most of these Fords
Great.
have 2 tanks, so I think he uses them both all the time.
Yeah.
Bet it does great burnouts, though.
Yeah, I think it does one single wheel burnout pretty good.
That'll be okay.
A single wheel burnout. Why
Yeah.
not? Yeah.
What do you call it? A
Don's high school
Single-
days, driving Mom's Buick.
Buick Skylark, yeah. Son, I don't know why the rubber's gone off of that right rear tire, but it looks like we're going to have to buy a new one. Yeah, Dad, I don't understand it either.
The rubber's there. It's up in the fender well.
Exactly. So at any rate,
So anybody who's looking for a quick gift idea in the automotive realm, they ought to go ahead and stop in down there at Pro-Am and take a peek at what you got, because you've got a lot of
Yeah.
choices for them.
Yeah, we're here Monday through Friday, 8:30 until 6 p.m. You can always give us a call. You can send us an email. We're here.
can I
We're
send
here
you
all
a
the
Christmas
time.
card?
You're welcome to, please.
Okay, just checking. Well, it's always great to have you on with us, John. It always. I told Mars, I said, call John. Let's do gift ideas for Christmas.
Yeah.
It just,
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys remembering to remembering us.
Well, always,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, we sure do. Well, all right, my friend. It's good to talk to you. Best of luck. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And we'll talk soon.
Thanks for coming
Thank
on.
you. Yeah,
Thank
Merry
you, John.
Christmas to you, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks. It's always fun to see his stuff.
Yeah, I know. It truly is. All right. We'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email. Our address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for Conrad's Car Clinic.
All right.
What's in the Car Clinic
Well, it's
today?
a continuation of what we did a little bit last week, is the life of Shelby.
Yes.
Shelby not only did the Cobras and the Ford GT and all the Shelby Mustangs and all of that. Well, you got to remember Lee Iacocca at one point moved, and I think it was in the 70s. He's going to be in auto history as well. He moved to Chrysler. Well, he brought Shelby to Chrysler with him. And
That's
Shelby,
right.
and Shelby
There were some Shelby Chryslers.
built a whole series of Chrysler-based Shelby products, but they're not to me, the Ford-based Shelby products can be investment-grade vehicles. You could buy one of those; it'd be a good investment. The Chrysler ones aren't. A lot of these are probably still selling in the $10,000 to $15,000 range. First one was the 86 Shelby Omni GLHS. It was a modified Dodge Omni, and the changes made by the Shelby were they retitled them as Shelby automobiles and sold them direct through Dodge dealerships. And GLH stood for Goes Like Hell, and then the S stood Goes Like Hell some more. Everybody always thought it stood for Shelby, just stood for some more. They made about 500 of them, and they all had dash plaques with a serial number and stuff. The upgrade to them was the turbo 4-cylinder. They added a factory intercooler and increased the output to 175 horsepower. And
That's pretty good for that little tiny car.
Yeah, and 175 foot-pounds of torque for that little car was quite a bit, and that little car would kind of get up and go.
That's a front-wheel drive car, isn't it?
A little front-wheel drive car. And then they took that same engine and put it in the Dodge Shelby Charger later, and that, in the today's era of massive four-door Chargers with Hellcats and stuff, it may be a little easier to remember this Dodge Charger. There's a couple of pictures of it. It wasn't really a popular car, but with the Shelby package on it, I think it was probably a decent driving car. And by then, it's still that same little 2.2-liter turbo. Had a pretty decent suspension upgrades, special wheels, and a lot of exterior trim upgrades to it as well.
You never see those anymore.
No. Well, might be for a reason. They weren't what I would consider a real high-quality car.
Well, no, but, you would think that somebody would have saved one or two of them back and put it on the show circuit because they're so rare.
And that's what I think is, again, that Shelby investment-grade vehicle. I think these may be on the edge of becoming investment-grade vehicles. So if you could find one, you might be able to get a good buy on one.
That would be the key if you could find one, because they're kind of
because the Shelby name's going to add value to it. And then Shelby also built in '83 a Ram pickup truck. He only built a prototype of it, never sold them retail. But and this is back in the day when they were building the SS 454 and the Ford Lightnings and stuff, and Shelby kind of jumped in the game, kind of proposed a full-size truck to Dodge, and they didn't go for the full-size truck. What they did end up going to was the Dakota, and Shelby built quite a few of these Dakota trucks. Again, that was in the day that the GMC Cyclone, the SS 454, and the Lightning Super Trucks were all out there.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, I kind of remember these. They were more of a dress-up truck than they were, a real high-performance truck. But they were out there, and they caught your attention mainly because they had the name Shelby on the side.
Well, that and the striping package and the way they, like you say, dressed them up.
That's ugly.
And then after this, they did the CSX with the variable nozzle turbo. Now, the variable nozzle turbo was unique in the industry back then. Very common today on the diesels, but the VNTs. And this one actually put out 205 foot-pounds of torque. And again, a unique car. They didn't build very many of them. Again, they only built about 500 of these. But again, talking about the Shelby valuations, I think finding one of those might be something worthwhile because of the low production numbers. And then the final one was the Shelby Lancer, and that was a bigger car than the CNX or CSX. And again, with the Shelby branding, upgraded suspension, wheels and tires, and exterior looks on it, it was more of a visual car than it was a high-performance car.
The Lancer, isn't that a Mitsubishi?
No. Well, at this point, it was you got to remember, Dodge and Mitsubishi shared a lot of platforms together.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So this was called the Shelby Lancer, and again, that was the 2.2 liter turbo with the intercooler and the upgraded torque output and stuff. So, if you're interested in owning a Shelby, you might be able to find a value one in one of those Chrysler products.
You could almost see the relationship of the Mustang body styling in some of those as well because of Iacocca.
In the upgrades.
Yeah. The square body Mustang, and then you got the Monza front end. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then next week we're going to talk about Shelby did some GM products as well.
I did not know that.
Interesting.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Ground up GM products. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Wow.
From a car company I loved. Still do.
Yugo?
Yeah. You go call the wrecker. I'll wait here with the car.
This is really a misnomer because I'm sure it's all over the news this week. Tesla recalling 2 million vehicles for autopilot safety flaws. Well, you don't take the car to the dealership. It's not one of those kind of recall. They're not recalling it to the dealership.
I think they need to replace the loose nut behind the wheel.
There you go.
This is an over-the-air update, is what they're going to do to try to fix the issues that have been plaguing this Tesla autopilot thing. They filed a recall covering more than 2 million vehicles after the top U.S. auto safety regulator determined its driver assistance system, Autopilot, as it's called, doesn't do enough to prevent misuse. The move is the result of a years-long defect investigation by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The recall is the second this year involving Tesla's automated driving systems, which have come under escalating scrutiny after hundreds of crashes, some of which result in fatalities. Autopilot comes standard on every new Tesla. It uses cameras to match vehicle speed with surrounding traffic and assist drivers with steering within clearly marked lanes.
Huh.
And you've used the Super Cruise and experienced that, and you talked about this clearly marked lanes thing can be a bit of an issue when the area you're driving through transitions into unclearly marked lanes, and then what does the car do?
It loses itself.
Right.
And with this thing here, there are noted, not fatalities, but crashes where the Tesla crashes into emergency responder vehicles that are parked in the lanes ahead of it. Doesn't know what to do. That's where the driver comes in.
Well, and there's, and we've talked with one of the guys we've had on for an interview, talked about there has to be some kind of a feedback system in the car that says the driver is paying attention, whether it's a camera that's watching the eyes of the driver or the feel of the steering wheel.
I understand that the Teslas do have that aspect of it, but when it comes to what's ahead of the vehicle,
it's not looking far enough.
And I think it's interesting if you read what you said. It's not doing enough to prevent misuse of the system. It's not saying the system doesn't work. They're saying it's misused, like they keep finding people sitting in the passenger seat that should be sitting in the driver's seat.
Or reading the newspaper or absolutely asleep, because you can see people take pictures of those people and post them on the internet. And the guy's sitting here and he's passed out asleep and the car is auto-driving for him.
I have a friend of mine that has a Tesla, and he says, I never use that thing, ever. And personally, I like driving. That's my own take on it. If the car has it, I never use it.
Did you use the Super Cruise just to experience it?
Yes, I did. And it was very strange because I like driving a car, and to sit behind the wheel and have this is on the Hardy Toll Road at the time, and to see the thing, at that time, this was 5 years ago, when it first came out, it would bounce between the lines. They've smoothed that out. The last one that I had,
kind of like Grandma.
Pretty much, yeah. They smoothed that out, so it doesn't quite do as badly as it did back when it.
Yeah, because some of them would start going back and forth. So I mean, it would almost get
lane change.
It would almost throw itself off over the line because it couldn't react once it got going.
You could put a note in the passenger seat, send the car on its way to the grocery store with money and a note, and then come back.
Oh, at the pickup place, just tell them, send them a text, tell them come out, put it in the back.
I'm here at Space 4. Go ahead and put my groceries in.
There are other recalls to tell you about. Turn signal and high beam malfunction. I think I mentioned this last weekend. Ram, all of the pickup trucks from 23 and 24, they get a malfunction there. They're recalling that. Loose brake pedal for the Ford Mustang for 2024. Ford F-150 Lightning 22 to 23 deactivated electronic stability control. Ford F-150 for 2022. Parking lights may flicker. Mercedes-Benz GLE 450E for 24. Braking may require increased force. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Stomp on the brakes.
May the force be with you.
Rear spoiler may obstruct the center brake light. Boy, there's one that I'm going to take my car back for in Porsches. Okay. Incorrectly adjusted headlights in the Infiniti QX60, which is an expensive car. Who messed that up?
I don't know.
You're fired. See you.
The guy that puts them in.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Something.
Incorrectly adjusted.
And for
headlights.
you, Conrad, General Motors is laying off 1,314 people at 2 manufacturing plants in Michigan on the heels of reaching a new labor contract with the UAW. We talked about this. The automaker says it will offer impacted employees jobs elsewhere within the company.
Battery plant.
I was going to say, do you want to move out of Michigan to someplace else that...
GM spokeswoman Tara Coonan said the automaker informed employees at the subsystems plant about the layoffs in October, resulting from the end of the Chevy Bolt EV and the EUV production. The plant's undergoing major retooling for electric truck production. Blah, blah, blah.
GM could save $29 million a year with one other layoff.
Well, the Corvette plant in Bowling Green, they've stopped giving tours and delivering cars because of the tooling and the new process that they're going through.
Well, but that's not uncommon. I went through that when they transitioned from the C5 to the C6. They shut all plant tours down because they didn't want people to go on a plant tour because you could see some of the stuff running through production.
Top secret.
Yeah. Time now for a quick break. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla Restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana? Stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeartRadio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeartRadio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we're going to speak with Tim Spell, former Houston Chronicle auto journalist and co-founder of the Texas Auto Writers Association. Plus, we'll have the upcoming events calendar, and Mr. Mars reviews the new Ford Raptor R. Later, we'll talk to the author of Car Confidential. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. We're not going to linger here with the introductions, except for Mr. Tim Spell, who's with us now. Tim, good morning. Tim, I think that you, sir, are muted. I think because we can't hear a word that you're saying. You saying anything?
Yeah.
Tim, are you talking?
You got to unmute yourself, Tim.
Yes, Tim. Push the button. You want audio.
Or don't.
Yeah. Now, you know, Tim has been in the print business, so he doesn't know anything about audio or video or phones or any of that sort of stuff. So, I'm sorry, are you saying something, Mr. Mars? Because your microphone's not on.
Pick a letter, Vanna.
Yeah. Mars has got the same problem that Tim does.
I'd like to buy an E, turn the mute off.
All right. Well, he's not. We can't hear you, Tim.
He just had the knee replacement, so he may be still getting adjusted to his medication.
It affects your ears, evidently.
Yeah, apparently. All right. Well, we're going to take that off of there, and when he comes,
are you
back,
there, Tim?
He
can hear us now.
We can see your lips moving, but we can't hear you.
Yeah.
So you're muted somewhere.
You are muted on your end, Tim. It shows here.
God. This
Talk to you next week.
Yeah.
See you at Woody's.
Yeah. No, we can't
Now we
hear you.
can still see your lips moving.
All right. Well, take him off.
Yeah, he's been off.
He's gone. You guys work on this, okay? Okay, Mr. Mars, would you do that?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. In the meantime and in between time, we'll do this without Mars. We're going to do Hemmings.com sold cars roundup.
Oh, you don't want to wait for the Hemmings?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
No.
Got your list?
Because we don't want to overdo it. I don't know what's so special about this 2002 Chevrolet Corvette. I guess it's a Z06 or something, because it sold for $32,550.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of money for a C5 Corvette. Mm-hmm. So it must have.
Yeah, that is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
It's got new wheels.
Whatever. How about a 2008 Mercedes-Benz CL 600?
Oh.
That would be the little sport coupe thing.
But it's a fixed roof coupe. It's not the...
Correct. It's a fixed roof coupe.
It's not the convertible.
No, it's not. It's a CL 600.
Put me down.
2008. What do you think it was?
Put me down for 17.
17.
Mars, you have an idea?
He's busy doing it. He's not involved.
I'm going to say 30 because you got to remember a 600 is a V12. So
Well,
I'm going
I
to say
didn't know
30.
that, so,
Yeah,
okay.
600's a V12.
Well, it sold for $21,525. It's a pretty little car. This would be right up your alley, sir. A 1989 Ford Mustang, 5 liter. Apparently, that's what it's got on the fender. So, what do you think an '89 Ford Mustang would go for?
$8,000.
Yeah, it depends on how much modifications are done to it. I'll say 12.
$9,400. Jeffrey, can we get you a throat lozenge or something?
Maybe Mike's got one. That's just good.
Mike has always got one. Usually in his mouth. Ricola. 1978 Lincoln Continental. Hey, Tim, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
Oh, my God. So we're going to pause this. We're going to pause the Hemmings thing while, we're right on top of it.
Now that we have sound.
In our crack engineering department here.
They're engineering on crack.
Yeah. So it's Tim Spell, ladies and gentlemen. Photojournalist, print journalist. Tim does it all. He's also the co-founder of the Texas Auto Writers Association. What year was that, Tim?
It was 1987.
87. Wow. Well, your memory is still good.
What? What'd you say?
I said your memory is still good.
I lost my hearing, though.
Yeah, apparently so. And your microphone. Yes. But so how many original members of the Texas Auto Writers Association did you have in 1987? You and one other?
No, we had about 30. But I think about 39 members actually.
Really? Did you Did you beat the bushes to get them all to come into the Texas Auto Writers Association? How did that come about?
And they all paid to join?
Well, what happened back in 1987? If you were a Texas journalist or a radio show host, and you wrote or talked about cars, you weren't part of the national scene. Okay, they had journalists and groups on the East Coast and on the West Coast and in Detroit, but not in Texas. So they had one guy who Peter Hubbard.
Oh yeah.
For the
he worked for the Post.
He worked for the Post. Well, he got a group of people together, and with the assistance of Ford PR, they formed a group, and they finally got some recognition after that. So I think they were eventually incorporated officially in 1989.
But are you still a member?
I'm an honorary member.
Well, that's what happens to old people.
That means you're
just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. At any rate, congratulations for an honorary member, an honorary founder.
Yes.
So it was you and Peter Hubbard that did this?
No, actually, it was Peter Hubbard and Stephen Cole Smith, who eventually became the executive editor of Car and Driver, and about 5 other guys started it, and then I came in a couple of months later. So I cannot claim I was there when they formed the bylaws. I was there originally, but I wasn't that first group. But
you were.
But nobody knew that till you just said that, because I told them otherwise.
I said lying. I'm sorry.
But you were the founder or co-founder of the Texas Truck Rodeo.
That is correct.
I knew it was something big.
So you're going to bring it back since it's kind of collapsed and gone away?
Oh, has it? I did not know that. Yeah. I thought it was a good show.
They still have it.
Yeah.
They still have it, yeah. But I don't believe that there's only Ford and GM don't participate in it.
No, they do not.
So how do you have any competition if you don't have the 2 of the 3 biggies?
Yeah. I just simply said they still have it.
Because Ram and Jeep win every year.
Well, what other choices do you have? You got Toyota Tacoma
and Nissan, whatever that is.
Whatever, yeah.
Anyway,
yeah. So at any rate,
yeah. Back then, all the other groups, they had track days, and so we were under pressure to have a track day. And I thought that maybe to distinguish ourselves, we could have a truck day, because we had the largest truck market around. So it worked, it stuck, and they loved it. So it immediately got traction.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, I know that one of the members opened his big mouth, and Ford said, "Well, we're not coming back." And that was the end of that. And then I didn't know that Chevy and GMC had gone away as well.
Pulled the plug as well?
Yeah. Because the last time I went, I believe all 3 U.S. automakers were there. And it had evolved to the point where, it was obviously more SUVs than trucks, because they were making more of them, and there were no limitations, and it became a field day of SUVs, so much so that it took 2 days to go through it all. And we can't take this one off road. Well, wait a minute. It's a SUV.
Yeah.
A utility vehicle. It's supposed to go off road. No, can't take it off road. Well, how do you competition?
It turned into a logistics nightmare. It really did.
It did.
Across 2 or 3 days. But you're right. It got so big when we were north of San Antonio doing it at that ranch up there. There was almost 230 people that attended that 2-day event. By the time you had journalists and support people for the OEMs and all that stuff, it got to be pretty big for a while.
Yeah. So, and that's when I said I'm not coming back. I just couldn't do it anymore. It was out of control. So, but at any rate, apparently the coveted trophy for the truck of the year is still handed out, and I think that there's at least one American manufacturer that wins it, I guess, every year, but it just doesn't seem like...
I'm not sure about that. I know that the trophy still goes out, and it still goes around. I haven't been able to go for probably 4 or 5 years. So
Are you still a member?
Yeah.
Huh. Are you not a president emeritus?
No. I'm not old enough. I'm not as old as Tim.
Well, they gave us an award. Didn't we get an award recently?
Well, that's what we were going to get into.
Okay.
Tim was also part of, he had a lot of experience running the Excellence in Craft competition.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you can talk about that now.
Well, that one started back in about 2007.
Yes.
And when it started off initially, it was just mainly, I think we had writing and radio. That was it. But things have evolved. Times evolved, and now there's, as you know, podcasts, which you guys are brilliant in, video, social media, which I don't know too much about. But Don probably does. And so it's what I found out in doing this is there is a lot of talent in Texas. And let me say further that this is really kind of a national deal, because a lot of the members of the Texas Auto Writers weren't from Texas. We had them from the East Coast, we had them from Michigan, and so they're from all over. So California. So there was a lot of competition, and so it kind of I think every year, hopefully, the mission is to raise the bar, which I think you guys are part of doing.
Well, that's nice. We appreciate that. Are you sure that we're raising the bar? I think
we're
that
just
we're
attending
lowering
the bar.
the
Or
bar.
we're just standing at the bar.
We're at the bar.
I read on your website that you're America's most entertaining car talk show.
Yeah, in our own mind.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew this is like the world's greatest cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Uh-huh. That's exactly what it is. Yes.
That was in Elf.
Yeah.
That's in Elf. Was it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I
The
did
world's
not-
best cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that. Well, at any rate,
Well,
yes, Mr. Mars,
so-
you're leading this.
So what we're doing, like Tim said, this goes on every year. You make submissions to it, and we do. In Wheel Time does submit some things into it, and this year in the podcast category, we took first place.
All right.
For our podcast of the Solar Car Challenge segment that we did, and the judge said, "I chose this In Wheel Time Car Talk podcast for a couple of reasons. First, the topic is timely and much needed for the industry for the opportunity that the program offers for the future generations. Also, it's a testament to the effort involved in editing a live radio show down to an interesting podcast." So that's what we did in the podcast category, which we've only been doing, 2 years maybe?
Yeah, apparently he doesn't listen all
Yeah.
the time because we make a lot of fun
I don't
about
know
electric
who
cars.
I don't know who
This
the
is solar.
judges were.
This was
I mean,
solar.
they go find the judges, and they don't tell anybody who the judges are until after the competition's over, because they don't want people calling the judges and trying to influence them and all that stuff.
Oh, no. We wouldn't do that.
So, in the radio category, we got second place in Wheel Time for the show that we submitted. So, what's holding Americans back from widespread EV adoption? So that was in the radio category. We also had a submission in the writing review category, where Jim Nelson, his review of the Genesis G80, took a first place
All right,
for In
Jim.
Wheel Time. Jim's review of the Genesis G80 balanced key facts with an assessment of features and drivability in a way that made the review engaging and easy to read.
Way to go, Jim.
So we continue our
award-winning ways.
Our award-winning ways.
Are we going on tour with this, or?
Well, I think that we may in the spring. We're kind of looking at the schedule to see what we can do.
All right.
We're going on tour with it.
Yeah, we're going to go back to Granbury.
Hot Rod Tour, Texas.
Yeah, we may go across Texas in April.
Well, that's true. We're the Hot Rod Tour of Texas.
Us and Willie. We'll all ride around on Willie's bus.
Yeah. Then we'll have a big smoke fest at the Saturday night.
Oh, boy.
Celebrate.
Yeah, I guess.
Go to the drive-in.
Guys, you were talking about earlier about the beginnings of the Texas Auto Riders and how everyone wanted to become. That's back in '87. I'm just reflecting about the cars back in 1987. Who would want to be an auto rider in '87? I was thinking.
Exactly.
You had the K cars, Dodge Aries,
Yeah.
and you were a Mustang a minute ago. The big store was a Taurus. And they had Fieros, all kind of square body stuff.
Hey, I remember the Oldsmobile Bravado won an award from the Texas Auto Writers Association. I worked for Oldsmobile at the time, and they actually advertised it and made a poster about it. I was surprised.
Kathy had an Achieva.
Sorry to hear that.
She hated it. It was green. Yeah.
And they actually took that Bravada out into the mud pits.
And left it.
And that's why they wouldn't let Don do it again a couple of years ago.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you can't take that off-road.
I'll never forget. I think one of the last truck rodeos that I went on, somebody didn't stay within the boundaries of the river that went through the ranch. And you could clearly see the drop-off in the river. But no, let's just go and see for sure
how deep it is.
How deep it is, or if it'll float. Well, it didn't. It sunk. And they had to get the wrecker and pull it out of there.
Yeah, we heard about it.
Winch it out.
We were there working the event. It was in there. Oh, we'll get it out really quick. Look, Ford's got a 250 with a winch on it. We'll get it right out of there. Jeep did not. No, you cannot hook that Ford onto that Jeep and yank it out of there because people will be taking pictures of it. No. Wait, they let it set in the river until the wrecker got there to take it out.
Which happened to be a Ford.
Probably a Ford wrecker, anyhow.
Yeah.
Well, makes me wonder, Tim, how many Texas Auto Writers wrecked cars that were on press release?
Well, we had some terrible wrecks. And unfortunately, we even had a Texas Auto Writer, a former president, killed.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I was president then. It was the introduction of the all-new, new generation 1994 Dodge Ram. And we were out in a desert. I mean, it was just a vast desert. And there was one road, kind of a snaky road. And this person was blasting it. Actually, he was driving a competitive vehicle, a Chevrolet truck, and he was going, over 100 miles an hour, kicking up this big rooster tail. And coming from the other end was a group of people who serviced and cleaned the cars. And they just happened to meet at this one crook in the road. And it was, the trucks went airborne. And one guy, the Texas Auto Writer, died, and some others were seriously injured. So that was a terrible thing and quite a PR nightmare, if you can imagine.
So, yeah.
Thanks for asking.
I didn't know.
Bringing it down on that little deal.
I had no clue. I didn't know that. But
that was an uplifting thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, so do you miss your writing days? Are you writing at all?
No. I've been pretty much out of the loop for about 3 years. Yeah. And actually, I'm pretty good at doing nothing. I know you guys can't do that, but I can just kind of do nothing. So. Just turn my mind off and that's it. So
and shuffle down to the restaurant down by the water in San Leon, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. They have nice people there.
Yeah.
And I've been I told Mike that I'm trying to recover from a knee surgery this week. So, but I debated before coming on with you guys whether I should take some of these painkillers, drugs.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and you did.
Hey,
I doubled up. I thought dealing with you guys that might make me
He doubled down.
And you're not going to share?
well,
Oh, come on.
Little does he know that we're all on him too.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, Tim, it's always good to talk to you, and we enjoy the laughs. And thanks for the awards that you had nothing to do with, but you. But at any rate, it's good to talk to you, my friend, and best healing wishes to you.
Congratulations, guys, on the win.
Thanks, Tim.
Hey,
Let's
thanks.
talk soon. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, my friend.
Same to y'all.
Okay.
Oh,
Nice
fun.
guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Great guy.
How long have you known him?
Probably 2000 is when I met Tim. That's when I started getting into the press cars and that sort of stuff. And he was a member back then. And and through that, when did you start Mars? You started after that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was after that.
Yep. So Roger Gray was working for General Motors at the time, and I reached out to him to get press cars because I started doing What's Don Driving on Channel 2.
I remember that. Yeah.
And it kind of parlayed into an ongoing thing now for 24 years.
Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, time now for the events calendar. Conrad has the events calendar, I hope.
Yep, not a whole lot going on. Rudy's Tomball presents Fire 'em Up Car and Truck Show, and that is going to be Saturday, January 20th at the Rudy's on FM2 or on 249 Highway just south of Tomball. Also Saturday, February 24th is Stephanie Nichols' 13th annual Car and Plane Show.
Oh.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
At the Georgetown Airport. I remember when we
In
went
Georgetown, Texas?
to Georgetown, Texas. I
That's a-
remember
that's
when
a
we went
drive.
to
It's nice country.
the Mustang show down at Ellington Field. I thought that was just so cool to be in and amongst the planes.
Yeah.
And always wanted to thank the Mustang guys for that, so thank you. And then the Houston Cars and Cocktails New Year's Eve party.
Oh, God.
Oh boy.
Cars and Cocktails and New Year's Eve and fast
What a
cars.
combination.
Sunday, December 31st at Little Woodrow's in Tomball. You got to remember, December 31st, the date's going to be
1, 2, 3.
12. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
3, 1, 2, 3.
3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
The only time that'll ever happen.
Mr. Mars, I don't know if this is kind of a jealousy thing. Oh, shut up. Mr. Mars has a review of the 2023 Ford Raptor Ara.
Aura.
And that's a very important R.
I know.
And they highlight it in their graphics in a nice bright red. So, first, let me tell you, this is the R trim is new for 2023, and it's not really a trim. It's actually a separate vehicle in their listing.
What?
It's an F-150, which you can get in 9 different packages, trim levels, whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of combinations. But there's only 2 under the Raptor label. The Raptor and the Raptor R, which is, again, is new for 2023. Otherwise, it's the same full-size pickup. It's 5 passengers. It's got the Raptor R badging on it, which has got a different set of graphics on it. The R really stands out on the running boards and stuff. It's all red. It's got it up on the grill. And it does have the running boards, wheel lip moldings. And the Raptor body style itself is a little different. It's kind of bulged. It doesn't really have fender well lips per se. It bulges kind of a little bit more out is the only way I can
Than
describe
a
it.
standard F-150.
Kind of
Yes,
a
and it's-
desert runner look.
And that's exactly what it is. It's the Desert Runner look. And this year they've added a power dome hood that as they need
The
because
hell
of the
was that?
supercharge.
What the hell did you just do?
It was my cough drop. I had to spit it out. I was getting tongue-tied with it.
He's going to aspirate it.
I was going to choke on it.
It's so funny because we have a radio show that's audio in nature that coincides with this video thing, and you don't chew gum, you don't put things in your mouth, you don't smoke cigarettes when
Well,
you're
I
trying
thought
to
I had more
talk.
time to get rid of it beforehand.
I like the power
Can I
dome
keep
hood,
going
though.
here? So you're going to find it's got the automatic LED headlights up front, got LED fog lights on it, and it's got twin panel moonroof, which I thought was kind of unusual. Got a power tailgate with a step on it. Got 17-inch wheels and 37-inch tires, so it's got some big rubber on it. The regular Raptor only comes with 33s, so this is 37, so it's considerably bigger. You're going to find skid plates, you're going to find Fox shocks, you're going to find all the things that makes the Raptor what the Raptor is in regards to that Desert Runner. What I found unusual about this truck was the luxury they built into this vehicle. I was kind of expecting, bare minimum thing, but Ford has really stepped up their game in their interiors in the last couple of years, and it shows particularly in this one.
Ram did that to them.
Yes, Ford's got to play the game. So it has the Recaro black leather seats in it. The front and the rear are heated on this thing. Got a 12-inch touchscreen in the center stack. That's where you're going to find all your convenience controls and your Ford Sync 4, your surround camera, all the things, which the surround camera comes in really handy, I suppose, if you're rock crawling. Didn't do much for me on the beach, sand crawling, but in rock crawling I can see where that would be helpful. The rear seat folds up, and it's got this big flat floor on it, except there's a storage compartment underneath the seat where you can store things, but it folds down. So you've got this almost a bed-sized flat floor in there. Now, Don, being your height, you probably couldn't, but I can lay down in there, and I could probably sleep in there on an airbag.
And you probably tried, didn't you?
Well, I had to see if it fit.
Becky threw them out.
After some of your brown water that you drank.
You got to make plans for these things. So I thought that was really cool with the flat floor and everything. It's got lots of overhead storage, and it's got a panel up there that's got all the auxiliary switches on it, so you can add all your extra lighting and stuff. So it's all wired in, and they really made this a nice truck that's got this off-road capability to it that, again, kind of surprised me to see the combination of the two. Up under the hood's where it gets really fun. 5.2 liters supercharged, 700 horsepower, 540 pound-feet of torque. It's actually, it's a Shelby GT500 engine, detuned a touch.
Detuned to 700 horsepower.
Yes. And so, again, this is a 10-speed automatic. It'll haul 1,400 pounds.
Donkeys.
Haul 1,400 donkeys is the way I got it put in here. The EPA says you should be looking for about 10 in the city, 15 on the highway, combined 12. Now, I will say I drove this vehicle 230.7 miles, and I got 12.4. And I took a picture of it for proof. So it's a really it's a nice combination truck. Again, it's got terrain management, 7 modes. One thing I will tell you, exhaust settings, you can change the exhaust from quiet to normal to sport to only off-road. I left it on the only off-road all the time because you could hear it all over everything. And there's no sneaking at home with that. The quiet you might could. Now, the base trim price or the base model price for a Raptor is $78,510. The base trim price for the Raptor R is $109,145. $31,000 option to go to the R.
And the price as tested is
$111,935 out the door.
And they'll sell every one they build.
I can see why. Now, I will tell you again, base model to base model, the Ram TRX, which is really the only competitor that's out there right now, $84,850 is the base starting price for it. So if you're into that, you need to go check this vehicle out. It is pretty impressive.
This program is available 24/7 on iHeartRadio. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. 30-minute podcasts are on your favorite podcast provider. The In Wheel Time Car Talk show continues right after this quick break.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 of the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana? Stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk. Howdy. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we talk to the author of Car Confidential. Plus, a look at the automotive headlines this week. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong, glad that you could join us. And Mr. Mars is going to introduce our first guest.
Yeah, so we get to Christmas time, we try and do our Christmas shows, and we try and find things that our audience could look for, potential Christmas gifts for their automotive enthusiasts, because sometimes car guys, you see something you want, you go buy it. So if somebody's trying to buy something for you, so we try and help them find some different things. And that includes car books, or books about cars or car things. So we ran across Car Confidential. Now I'm gonna say this, and I hope I've got it right, but Shay Kalukian, is that correct or close? Maybe.
Close. Good morning, gentlemen. It's Shahay, S-H-A, and then think of the word hey, Shahay.
Shahay.
Yes.
How about the last? Did I get the last name close?
Last name is phonetically just like it's spelled, Kalukian.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's an Irish name, isn't it?
Oh, of course, 100%. Irish cousin to the Kardashians.
There you go. I like it. Well, it's good to have you with us, and thank you very much. Tell us about Car Confidential.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. Car Confidential basically is the book. The message of the book is to allow car consumers to know that this is buying a car is not enough. Everybody knows how to buy a car. Everybody knows how to sell a car. But owning a car, being responsible for it is another chapter of owning and being responsible. So, like, I've owned an auto repair shop for 28 years, and every single customer that comes in has no clue about the car. They know about the color. They know about how fast it goes. They know about the leather seats, the Bluetooth, all the functionalities, but they have no idea about the car. And then they're the first to cry to say, I got ripped off. I didn't know I was overpaying for something. So this book is to break down the fundamentals, to let every car owner be responsible for the car and say, all right, I own it. I'm responsible for it. What do I need to know? And it starts there. And then the book is basically broken down into 23 chapters about maintenance, safety, and care.
Well, this would be a great book for your new driver, or one that maybe is going off to college, hey, here's the car.
Yeah, I was thinking the college student headed off with a new car.
Yep, and head off to college. Here are the fundamentals of what to do with your car.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like I said, there's a lot of folks that also say, oh, my dad taught me. Well, what is it that your dad taught you? Well, I'm supposed to look behind me and look at the side view mirrors. But did your dad teach you how to change a tire? No. Did your dad tell you about the oil grade in the car? No. Did your dad show you where the owner's manual is for you to read it? No, I have no idea. Do you even know what the car weighs? No, I don't. What's the tire size? I have no idea. But what do you know about the car? Well, it starts, it runs, it's got speed, it makes noise, I can put my seatbelt on, and it connects with my iPhone. That's not enough for a car owner.
No, but I got granddaughters that you're talking exactly about them.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you this, that my oldest daughter, who's now long out of college, we gave her a car to drive up there. It was one of mine that I'd taken pretty good care of, and it lasted for a long, long time. And there was a need for a repair, and she went to school in Austin, and no, not UT, but she went to school in Austin, and too far away for me to be able to help her with it. So we called around and got a suggestion as to a shop that would be honest and that I could work with long distance. Here I am in Houston, she's in Austin. And it turned out that through a couple of phone calls, one of them to the college that she went to, St. Edward's University, one of them there, and somebody else that I had a connection with in Austin, had they ever heard of this repair shop, that sort of thing. So between two recommendations, both of them recommended this particular shop that was close to campus. And I said, take it there and find out who the service writer is, get his card, get his name, and have him call me once he gets the car there.
So you could third base whatever it was they were trying to do.
And it worked out very well. And they were open and honest, and I had good feelings, and they fixed the car right. And but those are the kind of things that she wouldn't have known about what to do because she's 18. And I would imagine that you, being a shop owner, have probably dealt with that a time or two.
All the time, being that my shop is like 3 miles away from Grand Canyon University, and I have a lot of students, parents that called me and say, "Hey, Shahey, my son, daughter is going to campus, and I'm not there, but I need to be have open dialogue with you so you can keep me in the loop." So through emails, through pictures, videos, I loop the parents in, and I also kind of ask, is it all right if I can become Uncle Shahey, because I need to take over where you're not, so I could be a little stern and let the student know, you are overdue for this oil change. Why are you 7, 8, 9, 10,000 miles for this oil change that you haven't changed? Well, I've been busy, my school, my this. So I also like taking part to be the uncle and say, no, here's what you need to do. I can text you to remind you. I can email you to remind you. I know you got class and things going on. So it's important to have that relationship with the parents as well, and I do that all the time.
Do you still own your shop?
I do. I own it and I run it. Yes.
So have you found some of the new pre-inspection video picture programs have been to your advantage to share that with the parents so that they can see what you're trying to present to them?
Yeah, it is, and it's unfortunate. And the book also mentions this too, that we are such a currently we're a click-based society. Yep. But our biggest weakness as car owners is patience and convenience. If it's not convenient for me, I'm not interested. So this is why I've said it from day one. The rep that mechanics have gotten to be crooked or lying or thieves or whatever the case may be, I think that was given by consumers saying back in the early 20th century when this all started, it was magic to know, well, what is this? It's a car. How can you fix it? But then when you got this group of people that are technicians that realize and are passionate about fixing it, it became the secret society that the consumer didn't know. So when you don't know, you're afraid. And when you're afraid, you're being taken advantage of. And right. I think that consumers need to be their own first line of defense to say, look, I'm not a mechanic. I don't know anything about cars, but I'm smart enough to ask, well, Mrs. Johnson, you need brakes. The first question is, do I need brakes now? Oh, well, no, not really. Oh, I don't know. Well, how low are they? Well, 30%. Well, how does 30% last? I don't know, 10,000 miles? Oh, so I don't need it now. That one little question will break the barrier of you taking control of your car and your spending power. So being sensible is the way to be, and it's simple as that. So
your book is trying to educate the car owner on communicating with the shop and what their vehicle needs, so that everything kind of runs smoothly as their vehicle ages, because as everybody's vehicle ages, things need to be done, and in some kind of a sequence as well. But yeah, because to me, I think the biggest detriment to a shop owner, and where this whole thing of, they're all lying thieves and crooks, because I've been in the business since the 70s, and I'll tell you that's not true. But the lack of education of the owner becomes fear as the shop owner's trying to educate them on what their vehicle needs, and all of a sudden, oh, you mean it's going to be $1,000 to do that? Well, you must be, trying to take advantage of me. And that's really not necessarily the case.
Correct. Yeah. And once you know that, you bought a BMW, you bought a Mercedes for the quote unquote sake of, I hate to use the word vanity, but it's there, and it's an extension of who you think you are. So when you're pulling in your valet and your neighbors are waving at you and you're in your Starbucks line, feeling good about your car, and then now on the opposite spectrum, you're in front of me, and I tell you need brakes and rotors, and it's going to be $700, you're freaking out. Wow, whoa, my God, I can't believe it. This is too much.
And that's cheap on a BMW, $700.
Exactly.
I was going to say.
It's like too much how? Too much compared to what? So I always educate, and this book is to say that when you say it's too expensive, you got to stop and ask yourself, expensive compared to what? Right. Do I walk into a shop with 10 different estimates and your estimate is expensive? Or at this moment, my budget can't afford it, so I can label you as expensive? Well, this is where you need to go.
I will tell you that I think that part of the bad rap was kind of self-induced, if you will. Back in my generation, when I worked at a Chevrolet dealership years and years ago, we were taught to upsell. Mm-hmm. And with that upsell, you don't need to have the oil changed right now, but we need to do the coolant right now. Mm-hmm. And it's always something we had to add to the ticket, the bottom line of the ticket. And I think that got taken way out of hand, and it kind of gave the service industry a bad rap because we're trying to upsell it. There's no reason for that.
And in the industry, the trainers will tell you a one-line ticket is not good. You're wanting to look at repair orders that have multiple lines on them, which goes back to what you were saying. In some instances, the service advisor is held accountable to not have a lot of one-line tickets. They want to have multi-line tickets. So that's where that upsell happens. But if the upsell's done correctly and in the right timely manner, and the customer's educated enough to know, oh, well, no, I have 65,000 miles on my vehicle. It is time for cooling system service.
Yeah.
But without that education of the consumer, everybody thinks you're trying to take advantage of it.
That's right. So it's kind of a catch-22, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the core of the issue is it boils down to, I get a lot of applicants from mechanic schools here in the Valley. They come in and they say, hey, I want to apply. And I ask them, well, where are you currently working now? How long have you been out of school? About 2 years. Well, what are you doing now? I'm a forklift operator at Home Depot. Okay, but you left school, you're in debt $60,000. Where didn't you work anywhere? No, nobody will hire me. Well, when you do get that raw student that comes in, somebody has to give them a chance. And if it's in the wrong hands, that individual shop owner is going to train this young man to sell, make money. It went from being passionate about learning and understanding how a car works. Why is it broken? The biggest diagnosis guys in the industry are the ones that know how it works. They can diagnose it because they know how it works. If you don't know how anything works, you're not going to be able to diagnose it. So if in that core, you're in the wrong hands, you become this corrupt individual who happens to be a mechanic that jumps from shop to dealership to shop and is chasing the bottom line all the time. And then flat raters, same thing. When they're getting paid flat rate, this guy's making money, but the only way to make that one liner become a 20 liner on the ticket is to sell. Mm-hmm. Legit or not, he needs to push that envelope because he needs to make his bottom line, which ends up being the bottom line of the shop owner. So the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. If these mechanics are in the shop that's based on empathy, open dialogue, relationships, their technicians will be the same way. But if they're not, they stay corrupt, and it repeats itself over and over.
And how much time does he spend in the Snap-on truck because he's got to make that payment?
Exactly. And it's so easy. That Snap-on guy will give him a $7,000 toolbox that the kid is 26 years old, hasn't even broken 30,000 gross a year in income, and he's already making, it's only $20. It's only $50. But
that was me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it happens. And then, and again, nowadays with technology, I think I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you see a lot of technicians on their phone YouTubing. You're like, wait a minute, we have all data. We have books. It went from go to the book and read and put your hands on to just click it and see what YouTube says. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, go to Identifix.
Oh yeah, I've seen it at dealerships where you got 30 guys with $160 an hour flat rate, and the guy's on YouTube trying to diagnose a problem. You're like, well, what about all this equipment? What happened to the basics of taking interest and care about how to open it and do the wiring schematic? No, forget all that. Just go to YouTube, find a cheap video, and let's move.
Well, and that that's something that kind of happens in the industry too. From where I'm at now is everybody wants to replace a harness as opposed to find out which wire is bad and fix the bad wire. Become a diagnostician. Quit just being a parts replacer.
Yeah, very true. And the industry has a lot of those.
Very much so.
Shay, where can we find your book?
The book is located on Amazon, just Car Confidential, and it's there. It's already gaining momentum, which I'm excited about, and I can't wait to have. It's really a timeless book because you can go back and forth. You don't have to read it from beginning to end. It's got everything from what happens if I hit a car at 60 miles an hour. It's called Crashology. It talks about electric, what the reasons are. It's okay to buy electric, and the idea is great, but don't claim that you're saving the planet because you need to know what's behind the real carbon footprint of owning an electric car. That, and along with other things, it's a really breakdown fundamentals.
How many pages in the book?
348.
Easy read.
Very.
Yeah. And what a great Christmas gift for you.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know that I could get a 16-year-old girl to read it, but I'm thinking some of what he just talked about, I'd like to read.
All right. Well, we'll get one for you. How's that, Mars? That'll be your Christmas present.
Yes.
Yeah, I've posted a link on our social media to both Amazon and Goodread.com.
Shahey Kaloukian, we really appreciate you taking the time with us this morning. We thank you very much. Called Car Confidential, available on Amazon. Thanks again, my friend.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
You do the same. All right.
Good idea for a book.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. We started the beginning of the hour doing our Hemmings Motor News Sold Car Roundup. It's a little game that we play here, and I think it's time to finish that up. So how much do you think a 1978 Lincoln Continental, this is the two-door Continental, 78 Lincoln Continental, butternut yellow, how much do you think something like that would go for?
Black vinyl top?
Nope. I think it's either a yellow vinyl top or it's just painted. I don't know. Hey. It looks clean. It looks stock.
I'll say 6. Jeff said 4.
I was going to go $7,500.
$7,000. Oh, you guys are pretty good there on that one. Yeah, at least that one.
Yep.
Here's one for you, Mr. Mars. A 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It looks really clean. Silver in color. Nice factory stock wheels on it. 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee. What do you think? Now, I don't know the miles. I don't know rust factor, none of that stuff. Just on the ball playing field, how much?
12,000.
12,000?
I'll say 8.
8?
I was going to go 12, but I'll go 13.
$7,500. Wow. What? I mean,
I knew the Wrangler runs really high. Got big resale on it.
But this is the Grand Cherokee.
I thought it might do a little better.
It was the beginning of the Grand Cherokee craze.
The square body,
and they were hugely popular in their day.
Yeah, most definitely. I had to throw this one in because I'm currently driving a Land Rover Defender. Did you see it out there?
I saw it driving in.
Yeah. 1974 Land Rover Series 3. That's that safari-looking one. 1974 model.
74.
Yeah. It looks clean. It looks like it clearly had a paint job. But, it is a Land Rover, so this is kind of like the British version of the Wrangler, kind of. It's an off-road that is known to be capable of being beaten up and still be able to drive it.
As opposed to the new ones. I'm sorry.
12. Give me 12.
Jeffrey says 12.
12.
Mikey?
I'm going 22.
Ooh. I'm going to say 8.
19,950.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
19,950. Oh, I mean, it looks good. There you go. There's a picture of it. All right. Well, while we're
Suella and my sister sitting here, we walked in and I figured out yours was a Land Rover there, and I said, "Oh yeah," I said something snotty about it because I'm not a fan of the Land Rover brand, and she goes, "Oh, you wouldn't tell them that?" I'm like, "I'd tell them that in a heartbeat."
and tell the rest of the world that too. I've had my experience with Jaguar Land Rover.
I didn't say that.
I know that. So
we know where you're
going.
How
about a 1948 Willis Overland Jeepster?
What you talking about?
A 1948. Now, this is a post-World War II vehicle, convertible top. It's got wide whites on it,
but
it's red. It's red with a white convertible top on it. It's not to be too sexist about it, but it's a girly car. Okay? A 48 Willis Overland Jeepster.
It matches your pumps.
22.
Ooh, good price.
How about you, Mars?
I'm going to say 18.
I'm going to go 25.
25, 28.
Oh, there you go.
Shot.
20. Yeah, you all right in the ballpark on that one. Okay. Here's one for all of those guys that have their really fine leather shoes.
Okay.
A 2008 Aston Martin V8 Vantage.
Oh.
Or as the people over there in Neederville say, that'd be the Vantage.
What year?
2008 Aston Martin V8 Vantage. It's convertible, it looks like. It's bad to the bone looking.
16.
16? Really? Okay.
I'm going to go 37 man buns.
Man buns. That's probably pretty good.
What year is it?
8.
A 2008 Aston Martin V8 Vantage.
Yeah. What'd you say?
16.
I was going to go 18 then.
How about $66,150?
For that kind of money, you could call it anything you want.
Yeah. Now here,
and I love Aston Martins, but they
too.
generally don't carry that kind of resale value.
This one does.
Do you know what a lowboy is, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is a 32 Ford Custom. It looks like a lowboy, which is where they've cut the body and lowered it down on the frame. Right. But we call it a lowboy. Okay. 32 Ford Custom.
Fenderless.
It looks like a 1950s hot rod, but it's a modern version of that. Somebody has done a lot of work to it. It looks really good. It's red with a white convertible top on it.
32. Because we've seen some at
Yes.
Tortillas.
Yep.
Tortillas.
32. What would you say, Mr. Mars?
I would say since it's channeled, I'd have to go to 40.
40?
I'll say 55.
How about 39,375? It's a nice car. There you go. Okay, the last two. This is for Conrad. It was 1991 BMW 850i.
Love the car.
1991 BMW 850i.
It had that M1 look to the front of it.
It has. This is a two-door. Looks like it's got aftermarket wheels on it. Has the Hideaway headlights. It's a sports car. 91.
850i is the V12 engine.
Okay. It looks good. It's white.
18.
18. Okay.
17,452 and 28 cents.
Mars.
14.
16,8.
Oh, my.
That's how much the guy wants for the car. Then it's probably going to cost you at least another $20,000 to make it run. I don't know. I'm just teasing. I don't know. Okay, and our last one is a 1969 Plymouth GTX.
Yeehaw!
A 69 Plymouth GTX, and it looks stock, and
What color?
It's red with a black vinyl top on it, and it looks good.
64.
How much?
64.
No.
Can't have. Time's up. Come on, tick-tock.
We got to go to break.
42.
I was going to say 48.
55, 125.
Oh,
it looks
okay.
really good. There's a picture of it.
GTX is a 440.
Okay, so that's our Hemmings Sold Car Roundup for this week. Our little guessing game that we have. It's fun. We enjoy it. I hope you do too. Yeah. Okay.
George said 16.8 for the BMW.
Yeah. Ford Motor Company dialing back planned output of the electric F-150 Lightning pickup by half next year because of quote-unquote changing market demand, end quote. A steep pullback of a high-profile nameplate the automaker spent most of this year working to build in large numbers. According to a planning memo obtained by Automotive News, Ford has told suppliers to prepare for average volume of about 1,600 Lightnings a week at its Rouge Electric Vehicle Center in Dearborn starting in January. It had planned to assemble an average of 3,200 a week toward an annual goal of 150,000. Output of gasoline-powered pickups at plants in Michigan and Missouri is expected to be essentially unchanged, the company said in the memo. News comes amid an industry-wide pullback in EV investment due to slower than expected sales
This
growth.
is my shocked look. I've been practicing.
My shocked look. I was going to say that's why it comes from the Rouge plant, because Henry's got the red ass over it because the dealerships have got so much inventory of them right now.
Yeah.
You know, they can't give them away.
Tesla's price cuts have put pressure on some competitors this year, but a few brands are making inroads against the electric vehicle juggernaut. Notably, luxury kings BMW and Mercedes-Benz carving out bigger numbers of new EV registrations, according to the latest data from Experian. BMW more than quadrupled its EV sales from January through October. But understand, quadrupling it doesn't mean that they're selling.
Go from 2 to 8. That's quadrupling.
That's right. Tesla, by contrast, the dominant EV market leader, grew by just 6.9% in October from a year earlier. But still,
and the Cybertruck, they're delivering Cybertrucks right now.
Go buy one. Ooh.
No, I think it's ugly.
I think it is. I think it's going to be a short-lived phenomenon, and everybody's going, "Ooh, there goes the Cybertruck." Okay, fine. Good luck on that. That's my take on it. I'm just not really impressed.
I totally agree.
EVs by brand. Tesla ranked market share 56.3% among EVs.
Of the EV market.
Second behind them is Chevrolet at 5.9%. And it continues to go down.
That's way behind.
Yeah. And from there, it keeps on going down. Ford, 5.8. Hyundai, 4.8. Rivian, 3.7. All the way down to Audi at 2.1%.
Go Audi.
Of the EV market.
And Mary said we're going to be 100% electric by 35.
Good luck to that. Yeah. Quick break now. We'll be right back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupe Tortilla Restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupe Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupe Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupe Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupe Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupe's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupe Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupe Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk. From Studio A at the Sugar Shack Studios, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we're going to get a hold of
something
from, Something.
We're working on it.
Hemmings Motor News. It's the Bible for auto enthusiasts. Today we're going to talk to the CEO, hopefully, Jonathan Shaw, as soon as he dials in. Got to drive the $114,000 Jeep Grand Wagoneer.
Well, you guys are in these $100,000 cars this week, huh?
I don't know what the deal is.
Mars with the Raptor R, you with the Jeep?
We guessed, and I guessed $7,000. I think you guessed, $12,000 on that?
So, anyway, give you my thoughts on it. Conrad has the Cruise-In calendar. Yeah, Cruise-In still happening, despite the fact that we're heading up to Christmas. We'll talk to author and automotive guru, our West Coast connection, Jack Nerad, plus This Week in Auto History, along with the stories making news headlines this week. Just ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Thanks for joining us. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us this morning. We're hoping that Mr. Shaw is going to be joining us.
Give me just about a minute here. We're kind of working on it.
I see him waving. Jonathan, can you hear us?
I'm assuming that means he can hear us.
Hey, guys, I got you loud and clear.
Hot diggity dog. Well, it's great to have you on the air with us. He is the CEO, president, I should say, of Hemmings. And Hemmings is not just Hemmings Motor News anymore. You got other publications as well, and I think I subscribe to every single one of them.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's great to be here with you and in wheel time and enjoying a nice little Saturday. What could be better than talking cars, too?
Absolutely. And I understand that you guys have made a big announcement this week, joining forces again with Carlisle. And you're going to do is it kind of like a nationwide thing?
Yeah, so we're sponsoring the Carlisle, the major events at Carlisle this year, both the spring and the fall. So we're really excited about that. And then we're going to continue to do our club challenge when they have kind of the Ford Nationals, the Corvette Nationals and everything up there in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. So we're excited about deepening our partnership with Carlisle. they've done an amazing job of taking the event and really expanding it and getting, different age groups interested in. So, you're getting the younger Camaro, owners, the younger Mustang owners, alongside your kind of traditional vintage owner, traditional vintage muscle car, aficionados as well. It's a really great mix of people and really makes for a wonderful show up there.
Well, and it's not just a judged show. It's more than that. I mean, it is a huge event up there.
You're right. Yeah. Swap meets, car corrals. They do a great job with their live auction when it's partnered, there. So there's really something for everybody. And it's just a neat area to be in. A lot of history there too.
It's funny because the car shows up there, obviously steeped in tradition, especially Carlisle. We've all heard of Carlisle. And not only is it steeped in the tradition, but it's a different take of car shows than we have, say, here in Texas. I mean, there are smaller car shows that kind of mirror parts of Carlisle, but this is, it's over and above, I think, what most people in Texas, anyway, really think of when it comes to car shows.
Yeah, and, everything is kind of multi-day, especially if you go to, the fall or spring Carlisle. That's kind of super broad as far as, any interest, available can come to that with the swap meet and everything. And then, they do the make model specific events where they have, it's just trucks or, it's just the Corvette Nationals. So you really get a pretty wide range. I think they're doing 7 events this year. So we'll be there for every single one of them. And, you mentioned you guys are in Texas. I'm going to have to come back on and when we announce our Musclepalooza event there in Texas, where we do drag racing and a vintage and modern muscle car show with awards and everything too. So I'll definitely be dropping that when we finish that deal for this year.
Well, I will tell you that we're always game for stuff like that.
Yeah, buddy.
And, we have been known to go to different cities for remote broadcasts. We've got the Lone Star Street Rod Association event coming up in the spring. That's going to be in Granbury, Texas. You ever been to Granbury, Texas?
I have not been to Granbury, Texas, but I do have some Texas connections. My wife is from Dallas. My father-in-law lives in San Antonio, and my favorite place to go hunt in the entire world is in Southwest Texas, outside of Marfa and Presidio County.
Well, your wife from Dallas, Texas, will definitely know about Granbury, Texas. It's about an hour south of Fort Worth, and it is a spectacular location right on the lake there. And they have this wonderful, I guess we could call it a cruise-in, although some guys leave their cars there overnight. But it is a judged show, and it's all the hot rod stuff. And guys that are well-versed in hot rodding show up there, well over 100 cars, and it's a great setting at the park there. That's something that you guys should check out because we'll be there, and we'd love to have you come along with us.
That sounds awesome. I'm writing it down right now to check that out. The other places we're doing Musclepalooza. So, every year, we've done a Musclepalooza for, the last 25 years, but it's always been in upstate New York. And people have asked us for a really long time, please bring it west, bring it south, bring it to other areas. So we're going to be at, the famous historical Maple Grove Dragway. So we'll be in Maple Grove outside of Philadelphia there, April 13th. We'll be at Dragway 42 for Musclepalooza Midwest there in Salem, Ohio, May 11th. We've got one in Florida, and we've got one in Texas as well. So once we get those contracts done with the tracks, we'll be announcing dates for those. So we're doing 4 Musclepaloozas this year, and it's going to range from everything from vintage muscle, modern muscle, muscle trucks, kids under 12 get in free. There's payouts for the drag racing. It's bracket racing, and then awards in the car show, and car show winners are going to be featured in our magazine. So it's really a great opportunity.
Tell me more about the car show aspect of it. I like to take my 20, gosh, I have to admit this, my 2001 is what it is. So you do the math.
He can't take his shoes off right now to do the math.
Yeah, so exactly. and I take it to cruise-ins, and every once in a while, we'll, take it out and do fun things with it, like the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. Do you have room for the car show? Is it a judged show? Do I have to leave the car there overnight as a cruise-in? Tell me about that.
So you can leave your car overnight if you want, but you do not have to at all. All of our Muscle Paloozas are a one-day event. What's unique about the Texas one is we might expand that to a 2-day event, and kind of kick it off on Friday afternoon, allow some test and tune racing, in the evening. But from the car show side, love the question, because we see huge growth right now, especially in the collector marketplace, with early 2000s. 80s and 90s cars have gotten really hot, the Fox bodies, the third gen IROC Zs and everything, but you're starting to see that creep up beyond the 90s and into the early 2000s. So it's a judge car show, but you can also sign up just to bring your car into the car show if you want to have it in the show but not judged as well.
So fun.
So you can do a cruise in with it as well.
Fix your microphone. I can't hear you. What?
So you can kind of cruise in as well.
That's right. Yeah, exactly right.
And I will tell you that's really attractive to me, because I've done all the car show trophies and all that stuff. I certainly don't mind going to a Sunday morning cruise in around here and open the hood, roll down the windows, and let everybody see what I've got. I got a clean car that's got so a few aftermarket touches to it. Nothing special,
but virtually no miles on it for as old as it
well,
is.
That's true. It does have a few miles on it, 33,000 miles on it. But I will tell you that's attractive to me, so I can drive in there, show the car, and if you want to see a nice clean car from 2001, here it is, and then I can drive it home. And those kind of things are attractive to me. And that's good that you've got a place, because usually in a big event like that, it is a judged show. You got to drive in there, set it up on Friday, then have the show on Saturday, wait for the trophies
clean the
on
car
Saturday.
4 times during the show.
Constantly cleaning the car. So those kind of things are really attractive to me.
And Haggerty's going to draw big name stuff.
What's that?
Haggerty's going to draw big name stuff. Hemmings is going to draw big name stuff. Oops.
Conrad.
Okay, that's the other H. They're just an insurance group.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk for a minute, if you don't mind. Let's talk about the different publications that you guys have.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we still have Hemmings Motor News. That's the original, right? That's kind of why we're celebrating our 70th anniversary in 2024. Ernest Hemmings, back in 1954, found a need where he and his Model A and Model T buddies didn't have anywhere where they could trade parts or find cars. So he created a 4-page pamphlet back in 54 and mailed it to 100 of his Model A and Model T buddies out in Illinois. And here we are 70 years later. We still got the big book, #1 seller on Automotive Title on newsstands, which we're thrilled about. We produce Hemmings Muscle Machines and Hemmings Classic Car magazines as well. But I got to tell you, and we've been successful in the print business, and the big book is still 350, 400 pages all year long, every single month. But if you're only reading it in print, you're missing out a little bit, because we have 30,000 cars for sale on the website on Hemmings.com at any given time. So it's just become massive. This year we'll do over 38 million people will visit the website.
Well, you don't know this, but we have this little thing here that I started not too long ago called Hemmings Sold Car Roundup, the thing that you guys send out to all of us. And so we take that and we talk amongst ourselves, and I let the boys here kind of guess what the car is sold for. And so it's a little game that we play every week, Hemmings Sold Car Roundup, and it's fun. I obviously can't do all of them, but I just pick and choose and try to run it across the board as far as year, make, and model. And we just got finished with it right before you came on. But it's a lot of fun for us, just guessing how much these cars sold for. The one that I think stumped the band here this morning was the Aston Martin Vantage that was 20 years old, sold for $66,000. Yeah, we were kind of taken back by that. But at any rate, it's a fun thing to do. And I will say this. That one thing, it's not just a used car magazine that you have, Hemmings Motor News, because you can find guys in there that do old steering wheels. Send me your steering wheel, I'll redo it like new. And those things are very attractive to me. Man, I could sit and read that for all day long. Tube radios for old cars. Send it to me, we're going to fix it. It's going to look like new. It's going to sound brand new when you get it back.
Yeah, there's an amazing number of craftsmen that, still offer their services through Hemmings. And, part of the reason we're big on, the kids under 12 get in free to our shows this year at Musclepalooza is really trying to get more people into the car hobby. And hopefully that continues to feed, the things that we do at the RPM Foundation and helping, people get into the trades, so that we can continue having people offer the services. People need to be doing apprenticeships with these guys and gals because there's too few of them right now doing offering some of these repairs and services. But you can find them in Hemmings, that's for sure.
Jonathan, do you have kids?
I do. I have 3 kids. My 2 boys. I've got a 9-year-old boy and a 7-year-old boy, and I have a 2.5-year-old little girl. So I'm in my sweatshirt right now as we just got out of morning basketball games here. So I ran into my office here at home to get on the air with you guys.
Yeah, well, I say that because I raised a couple of daughters, and I drug them to every car show and drag race and roundy round race, and I think that some of it rubbed off. I think that they both have a new appreciation for cars. They take care of their cars. They do the oil changes and stuff like that they're supposed to do. Not that they get out and work on them, twist wrenches. My youngest is an astrophysicist, so she's in the space industry. But you get it. I mean, you kind of pass it along. You pass on your passion, so to speak. And this is such a great deal. So I'm thinking, when is Carlisle in the spring? It seems to be about April 17th through the 21st, correct?
I believe that is right.
Yeah, and then the October one is October 2nd through the 6th. Boy, that just reeks of a vacation. Bring the Corvette, immerse yourself in all the fun and activities up there at Carlisle. And that's a real haul from Houston, Texas, I will say that. So you'd have to take some time off from work, but it would be one of those things that I think it's attractive to me,
I think you got to experience it if you haven't been up there yet. That's for sure. It's one of those. It's been around. They're celebrating their 50th year this year. And shows like this don't last 50 years if they're not worth going to. So it's an experience, that's for sure.
Tell me about Sun and Fun, the expo campus that you got in Lakeland, Florida.
That one I'm not as familiar with. I don't believe that's our event.
Well, it's on your press release.
That might have been. Maybe that's Carlisle's. I think that's Carlisle's.
Okay,
and not a Hemmings event.
I got you. Okay. Well, very good. Well, I mean, the press release kind of entails everything, and it's kind of hard to separate, Hemmings from Carlisle because the press release kind of marries you two guys together.
Yeah. So what are the cars and coffee that you guys are going to on a regular basis out there in Houston?
Well, there's so many. Conrad can speak to that. He puts together the list. I mean, there have got to be at least 24 events on every weekend around here. I mean, Houston's a big city, and
it's a great car city too.
Yeah, it truly is, and a lot of enthusiasts here. The one that we're most intimately involved in is a thing called Tailpipes and Tacos, and we're trying to get back on track. We've had a bunch of bad weather days back to back. It's a monthly event that Stan Holt, a good friend of the show's, he puts on, and it's a lot of fun. It's a cruise in at a Tex-Mex restaurant on a Saturday morning, and he gives away free tacos, and everybody shows up and hands out nice trophies and that sort of thing. So it's an easy come and go 3-hour kind of deal.
That sounds fun. Next time I'm in Houston, I'm going to look it up. We'll all go together.
Please call us and let us know.
I will.
I was going to say we'll pick you up at the airport, but because of the construction, no.
Oh, yeah.
We'll Uber you out. Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, it's great to talk to you, and thanks so much for joining us today. And best of luck on the upcoming marriage you guys have with Carlisle.
Thank you very much. It's great to be with you all in wheel time. I appreciate it. And go check out Hemmings.com or come to a Musclepalooza when we get the full event schedule noted out there. Thanks.
Yeah. Let us know when that is. Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know. We'll get on. We'll get on the air with you. Sounds good, Jonathan. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
That is so cool.
It is. And Conrad.
Yes, sir.
Conrad has it Haggerty. I don't know where did that come from.
I don't know.
It was just H Hemmings Haggerty.
That's not what it is. An H.
Get the H out.
Hell.
Yeah.
Holy smokes!
Time now for the cruise-in calendar. Let's do that, shall we?
So this afternoon, OTT
Put
tuning
closer
event.
to there you go.
At Bass Pro Shops in Pearland, starts at 12 noon, goes on to 4 o'clock. At 3 p.m. this afternoon, to 6 p.m. at 2023 Exotic and Luxury Car Show in Montrose on Westheimer. Don, it's a place for you and your pumps.
All right.
The car show and toy drive in Aransas Pass, if you want to get a little further south. And then the street performance and off-road toy drive on Castleford Street in Houston. The entry is a toy donation because lots of people are doing their Christmas toy drives. Car show and toy event at Friendly Ford in Crosby, Texas.
Know it well.
And the entry is a toy. The Car Culture Invitational Toy Drive at 2711 Plaza Drive in Sugar Land. So that's just kind of around the corner
That's
from
not very
here.
far from here.
And that's tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Also tomorrow, starting at noon, is the Cruise Old Tomball on Main Street in Tomball. Just be real careful because the Tomball police turn that into a revenue-generating event.
No sense of humor, eh?
None whatsoever. And then also tomorrow at 6 p.m. is the car meetup at D&M True Value on West Montgomery Street in Willis, Texas. And then also tomorrow night at Fuego's Meet off of Durham in Houston. That's pretty much most of it.
All right, thank you. Time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive the 2023 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Available trim levels are Series 1, Series 2, and Series 3. I drove the Series 3 Obsidian 4x4. It's a standard body-on-frame 3-row SUV. Boy, is it nice. 7 passengers. Exterior changes from last model year. Well, it was all new in 2021. They brought back the Wagoneer name. And it's, by the way, it's called Wagoneer by Jeep, not the Jeep Wagoneer. So just wanted to let you know that. Exterior features, conservative, classy, upright, full-size SUV with 7-slot grille, of course. Slab sides, extra large windows with chrome surrounds. It's kind of a conservative throwback design. It's interesting. Big, sophisticated wheel and tire combo, a chrome bling on the extra large hatch with attractive lighting front and back. What I liked about it, the conservative nature of the entire look of it. It is conservative.
And good looking.
It is. What could use improvement? Not sure, if anything. Interior highlights, digital instrument cluster with extra large infotainment screen. Classy. Hideaway passive phone charger behind a retractable screen that basically adjusts all of the massaging and thing seats that it does. Screens on the backs of both front seats, second row center console as well. A comfortable quilted seating with massage, heat, and enough positions to send you to the moon and back. Cargo trunk room. For more room behind the third row, get the L model if that's what you need. If you're really going to use the third row, then you'd want to have the L model. It's a separate model. What I liked about it, everything. What could use improvement? the question is really, at what point is there too much? That really, with this vehicle, that becomes the real question. Now, the engine. This has the 3.0 liter twin turbo inline 6-cylinder.
Oh, okay, the new Hurricane.
That turns out 510 horsepower with the horsepower upgrade for the Series 2 and Series 3. Okay. 8-speed automatic transmission, tows 9,800 pounds, hauls 1,360 miles per gallon, which I don't quite understand this, but it only gets 14 city, 20 on the highway for combined to 17. I got 15.9 over 324.5 miles. What I liked about it, it has the smoothest power band that you have ever felt in an engine. It feels like an old Cadillac V8, smooth as silk.
Gobs of torque.
Gobs of torque, and it sounds good too. It's quite amazing. I really did like it. Even if you don't buy one, go find one that's got this engine in it and go, yeah, I understand what he's talking about now. What could use improvement? Well, like I said, mileage is a bit disappointing because I thought that them going from the Hemi V8, which, by the way, I think you can get in this thing, to this inline 6-cylinder would result in better gas mileage, but it apparently doesn't.
That's a big, heavy vehicle.
Oh, my gosh, is it?
So, that engine, to me, I think you can overdo. A small engine can try and carry too much weight, so it's got to work harder. The turbos have got to stay cool, so you use more gas, helping to keep them cool. It's, what do I know?
Ride and handling. What I liked about it, a dreamy ride. I don't know how else to put it. It's a dreamy ride, very controlled. This has got the air suspension on it. Boy, is it sweet.
Not a floaty ride.
Not a floaty ride at all. Not at all. The
air suspension makes a ton of difference.
It's very similar in the handling as that Land Rover Defender that I've got out there. What could use improvement? Zero. Don't mess with it. It's perfect.
It needs the imitation woody sides.
Okay.
From the original Grand Wagoneer.
And I'll bet you John Gray down at Gulf Coast Auto Shield could put that on there for you.
Good idea.
Base trim price, $107,995. Prices tested, $114,180. Base model price to get into it is $87,995. So this is not a cheap vehicle. But that's not what this vehicle is about. It's not about being cheap.
There's a show to owning one of these.
Yeah, most definitely. As far as competitors, well, let's just start with the Cadillac Escalade for $79,295. That's base entry-level price. All these are. Lincoln Navigator, $77,635. And the Mercedes-Benz GLS, and I had to kind of stretch it because that Mercedes-Benz isn't near as big, bulky, or it isn't really like it. But as far as price is concerned, it is $81,000.
What's the price on that you have in the driveway right now?
$88,000.
So it's still in the same range.
Yeah, it is. But that is much smaller than the Grand Wagoneer. All right. That is my review of the 2023 Jeep Grand Wagoneer Series 3 Obsidian 4x4. And by the way, what I didn't mention is, as far as the 4x4 is concerned, Jeep has like 3 different levels of off-road capability. And so you have to pick and choose if you're going to get one. How much off-road do you want to do?
Are you going to go off-road at all, or is it just going to be a soccer mom's car?
Well, that would be my guess. I wouldn't take it off-road. It's too pretty.
Nah.
The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through iHeartRadio. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. Find one, get it. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupe Tortilla Restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupe Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupe Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupe Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupe Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupe's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupe Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupe Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, and just ahead, nationally acclaimed automotive genius Jack Nerad joins us from the West Coast, the left coast as well.
I thought you were talking about Mike.
No, not talking about Mike. Conrad has This Week in Auto History. We'll get you caught up on the stories making automotive news this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us. Speaking of the West Coast, let's just jump right on out there, shall we? Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the host of America on the Road. It's Jack Nerad. Hi, Jack.
Hey, great to talk to you guys. Happy holidays to you.
Well, and happy holidays to you too. And how are things out there? Let's just start off with the price of gas that you bought this week.
Actually, it's come down a little bit. I think it's under $5 now, maybe $4.75 or something like that for a gallon of regular. So I know that sounds obscene to you guys, but
I paid $2.30. I paid $2.39 yesterday.
Yeah, $2.30 is what we're paying here. Well, even more reason to move to Texas.
Yeah, plenty of reasons to move to Texas.
Absolutely. So, Jack, NAC Toy Awards. Last time we talked, you really couldn't say too much about it. We had the finalists. You could talk about that. So, what happened?
Well, that's changed a little bit, actually, because we had and this is a fairly rare occurrence. We had a finalist drop out from the sport utility side.
What?
And it's because it will not be available early enough in next year to really qualify. So this was good. This is the Volvo EX30. Volvo contacted us about a week ago, I think, and said, you know what? We're delaying the entry into the U.S. market with this vehicle. It's going to probably not show up until midway through 2024, and thus it's your decision, but it would be wise probably to have that vehicle pull out. So that happened. We replaced it with the number 4 vehicle in terms of votes, which is the Hyundai Kona, which I think you guys probably like. I certainly like it.
Yes, absolutely.
Good vehicle. So the EX30 from Volvo is out, and the Hyundai Kona is in. I just got my final ballot It is due on the 22nd of December. And after that, on January 4th, we will announce the winner of the North American Car of the Year, the North American Utility of the Year, and the North American Truck of the Year.
I see. So once again, we have spoken to you about something that hasn't taken place yet. But that is news, though. But that rarely happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And it's interesting that, sometimes some car companies might maybe not be as forthcoming as Volvo was in this particular instance. And especially when they've gone this far and gotten to be a finalist in what is a very prestigious awards program, obviously. But I really have to hand a lot of kudos to Volvo for being very upfront about this and saying, we're just not going to have that vehicle in time, and it really doesn't qualify. So,
well, I have to tell you that it's been a number of years since I've actually had a Volvo, and I'm anxiously awaiting for their return to the press fleet here in Texas. We just don't get them. I don't know why, but
that's interesting because I drive a lot of Volvos actually, and I had one last week, for example, an XC90 Recharge, which I liked quite a bit.
Did you? And speaking of that, what vehicle have you had since the last time that we talked that really impresses you? Clearly, that one does.
Yeah, that absolutely does. I'll tell you another one that has really impressed me recently, and it's still sitting out front, is the Honda Accord. It is one of our nominees for North American Car of the Year, and the Accord is, it's kind of under the radar in a lot of ways, and everybody knows what an Accord is and this and that. But I tell you, it just does such a good job. I was driving an EX model, which is their non-hybrid. The upper level of models are hybrids these days, which I think is pretty cool. But I wanted to get one that was, not as expensive, and that probably a lot of people would buy and see what that was like. And it's really impressive to me. A turbocharged engine under the hood, plenty of power, large back seat, super comfortable, all the connectivity you could probably want. It's just a nice car. It's got cloth seats. Yeah. How often have you driven a press car with cloth seats lately?
I love cloth seats.
I do too. I'm a big fan of cloth seats. I think they really work well, but we don't see them very much. Although Volvo has them, actually. Volvo in some of their vehicles will have cloth.
Well, when we're dealing with 108-degree temperatures here in the summer, leather seats are really not the thing to have when you've got it locked up out in the parking lot in 108 degree. The interior of the car is at 140 degrees, and you're going to sit your butt on that. Give me a cloth seat any day.
Listen to the sizzle.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm right with you.
I will say one of my daughters just bought a new Honda Accord. And she just was at the dealership looking, and she wasn't even looking for that. But she saw it, and they've changed the stylings. We gave a 2003 to her granddaughter, and they don't look anything like that anymore. But she was under that impression, it was just, like you say, kind of a plain Jane car, and they've really done some nice things as far as the styling cues go. And she's liking it real well. She's got the hybrid, and she loves it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. And the hybrid just has, through the roof fuel economy too. I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are, but it's up toward 50 miles per gallon, I think. And for something, a car that substantial, to get that kind of fuel economy is pretty amazing.
Well, I'm sure that you're like me in the fact that, you get people that ask you all the time, hey, man, what's your favorite car? And I have to tell you that I have been really impressed here in the last a couple of years anyway, with these non-plug-in hybrid cars because of the gas mileage. And you think, a hybrid car, it has no horsepower. That's not true at all. They're very competitive, in my opinion, with a four-cylinder engine, some V6s. If those are even still around anymore, those are kind of become a rare thing. Maybe a collector car would in the V6 department these days.
Yeah, I think a lot of car companies, Toyota, Honda, for example, have replaced their V6s with turbocharged four cylinders with hybrid attached to them often, or a hybrid in a non-turbo kind of situation. But that turbo hybrid kind of thing, hybrid is essentially free power. You put a fairly small, fairly inexpensive battery in there, and you can use that electric power, that electric motor, kind of smooth shift transitions to give you more power when you accelerate. It's instant torque. I think you guys have all experienced that.
Yeah.
It's really terrific.
It is. And in my daughter's case, she's 6 miles round trip. She's a school teacher. She goes across town, comes back. And you know what little bit of running around she does, she doesn't burn very much gas at all. I mean, she kicks it over to that electric side pretty quick.
I do know that in some cars, you can actually go all electric for a short period of time. So if you really wanted to narrow it down, you could have an electric car by pressing the button and say, go electric.
Yeah, and certainly plug-in hybrids are that way with maybe 30, 40 miles of all-electric range.
Yes.
Where during the week, I mean, Michael's daughter would be driving on electric power the entire time, right?
She's loving it. I mean, she can't. Yeah. She said she's running up in the 40-plus miles per gallon. Her husband don't believe her, but that's the way she's calculating, and I believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a stretch for 40 miles per gallon. It's truly amazing that more and more people aren't attracted to that, because I would be.
Yeah, well, especially you get the best of both worlds. You get the power of the electric propulsion and that instant torque, and the longevity of gasoline powered for your fears of range anxiety.
Yeah, and God knows I've got that. Have you driven any trucks lately, Jack?
Let's see. I'm about to. Well, I have, and I'm about to drive again the Ford Super Duty.
Yeah.
Which is a terrific vehicle. Also, and I'm sounding like a broken record here about talking about North American Car of the Year nominees, but that's what I'm driving and testing right now because balloting is coming up. But that's a terrific vehicle. That really is a wonderful vehicle. I mean, so many of those are used for towing. I think they say 80% of the buyers of those vehicles use them as a tow vehicle. It's really rigged out for that. At the same time, it's one of those vehicles, I think you guys have certainly experienced this. It drives smaller than it is. When you first see it, it's a gargantuan vehicle. It's like a school bus, in front of your house. But then you get in it and start driving it around, and it's pretty agile. It's really kind of amazing. They've done a remarkable job with it.
Yeah, and the turning radius, they clearly know that the thing is, 100 feet long, and how are we going to get it around the corner? But they've done a remarkable job in the steering with that thing, and I'm impressed. Of course, they've been building trucks a long, long time, and they got it down to pretty good science.
Yeah, I think Ford understands how to do a pickup truck.
So let me ask you, let's change gears for just a second. Now that the United Auto Workers strike is over with, and we're starting to see some of the fallout from that with factories laying off workers, and also these EVs especially, they're canceling shifts. Things are changing in the automotive network.
They really are. I mean, the manufacturers struck by the UAW were between a rock and a hard place, and they needed to settle with the union to sell cars at the same time. The deal they made, I don't know how competitive they can be going forward, paying what they're paying to their workers versus what others are paying to their non-UAW workers to do essentially the same jobs. And that's here in the United States. I mean, when we talked about the Volvo EX, that's a vehicle built in China. Think of what the labor rate is in China, or the labor rate is in Vietnam, where we're seeing some vehicles coming now.
VinFast,
I was just writing about the VinFast vehicles this week. It's got to be very difficult, I imagine, for the domestic car companies to think about expanding production in the United States using UAW workers when potentially they could build those same vehicles in Mexico, right across the border from you guys, and with a much lower labor rate. It kind of just, that's kind of a no, and not have any kind of tariff ramifications or anything like that, because they're all part of the same North American agreement. It's got to be difficult times, I think, and then you throw the whole EV thing into it, where you can't build a conventional vehicle on an Ultium platform, for example. General Motors is about to build all its EVs on. Those just don't mix well, so you can't go, okay, we're going to up the number of conventional vehicles built in this factory and cut down the EV. You can't do that. So you have to have kind of dedicated EV factories for that kind of situation. And that's
because the parts,
have them scratching their head and going, how do we do this?
Yeah, you're right, because the parts don't interchange much. I mean, you can't even use the same tires off of an EV onto a gas. Well, you could, I guess, for that, but you can't use the gasoline type tires, vehicle tires, onto an EV. I mean, so there's no economic factors there that you can kind of cross pollinate with.
Yeah.
Jack, I will tell you this, that at least from everything that I've read, I've not done my own personal dealer survey, but from what I've read, that the EVs are stacking up on dealer lots right now because they can't sell them.
It's very difficult. I think what we've seen is EVs are a province of the rich. I mean, EVs are luxury vehicles. They're priced at a premium, and they're not priced as much at a premium among the luxury brands. I think luxury brands have enough margin in their vehicles that they can kind of absorb some of that added electric vehicle cost in their vehicles. And they also want to, compete with Tesla. But we have not seen any kind of real mass market adoption of electric vehicles. And I don't know that we're going to. When you look at the marketplace, about half the vehicles sold are priced under $40,000. It typically used to be more like $30,000, but these days with price escalation and COVID, it's more like 40. But try and find an EV you want to buy for $40,000, right? So if you're over $40,000, half of the market is already just not available to you as a manufacturer.
Well, I think that this 2024 upcoming year is going to be a real shakeout for a lot of people, including the dealers, because the bottom line is if the dealer's not selling the vehicle, they're hurting just like the auto manufacturers are when it comes to building a car that's competitive price-wise, but they can't sell it.
Well, and that's the throughput, because when dealer inventories increase, manufacturers offer higher incentives. So it cuts into the profitability, and when their cost of building stays the same, offering higher incentives just cuts into their profits.
Yeah. I think it's going to be very interesting. I think that there are going to be a lot of dealer people getting out of the dealership business, selling their dealership off. It's a really touchy. It's a touchy time.
It's a watershed time, and governments can specify what manufacturers have to build, but they can't. Up till now, they haven't been able to force people to buy them. Right? I mean, people are voting with their dollars, voting with their wallets on whether they want EVs or not. I don't think any of us is anti-EV. I think EVs are terrific, but they should compete with internal combustion engine vehicles on their own merits, as opposed to being forced upon us. And we're not seeing that.
Yeah,
we're not seeing them being competitive that way.
It's like Suburbans and trucks. There's a specific place that vehicle fits into the market that consumers want for that reason. And not everybody needs or wants an EV. You're right.
Yeah.
Jack, you got plans for Christmas?
We're sticking around. As I think you guys know, two of my daughters live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they're both coming into town. Actually, one is arriving this afternoon. And then my third daughter is coming in. She's studying abroad this year, and she's coming back from Copenhagen. We're going to pick her up at the airport in a couple hours. So we've got two coming in, one more coming in later. So we're sticking around. How about you guys?
Well, I think we're all sticking around. No big plans. Just going to stay close to the house and enjoy family and friends.
Yeah, terrific. So, Jack, how's your book doing, by the way, before we get out of here?
My book is doing well, and thanks for asking. I mean, Dance in the Dark is the name of my book. It's right over my right shoulder here. And pretty good Christmas gift, maybe, if depending on if your recipient likes thrillers. This is a crime thriller. But it's doing well. Thanks for asking.
And it's available on Amazon?
It is available on Amazon.
So there's still time to get it.
Yeah, actually.
There is. Yeah, I think it's a nice, fairly inexpensive and easy to get Christmas gift.
You're our guy, Jack Nerad. We thank you very much. Best wishes to you and your family, and have a wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, same to all of you. I really cherish this time I get to spend with you guys every Saturday a month or something like that. It's really terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear friend. Talk to you soon.
Okay, you guys take care.
All right. Let's see. Time now for This Week in Auto History. Conrad has that.
Well, this week in 1935...
I remember it well.
In 1939, the first Lincoln Continental was produced when Edsel Ford requested a personal luxury vehicle for use while he was vacationing in Florida. Designer Bob Gregory put a pen to paper, and within an hour he'd sketched out what eventually would become the Lincoln Continental. The initial design was essentially a two-door, channeled and sectioned Lincoln Zephyr, featured a convertible top and no running boards. The workers hand-built the car, which sat 7 inches lower than the original Lincoln, and delivered it to Edsel in Ford. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Hi, I want a new car. Can you design me a new car and bring it to me in Florida? Yes, Mr. Ford. And they built about 1,000 of them. In 1957, the last of the first generation Ford Thunderbirds was produced. Ford's answer to the Corvette, the Thunderbird began rolling off the assembly line in 1954 for the 55 model year. Well designed to compete with Chevrolet's sports car, the Thunderbird was marketed more as a personal luxury vehicle. I never considered that they competed, but in what you would look at a two-seat convertible, they kind of did. But yeah, Ford way outsold the Corvette 20-1 in 1955 because they didn't sell a lot of 55 Corvettes. And then in 1970, Lee Iacocca was elected president of Ford Motor Company. And Lee became the first president of Ford Motor Company that wasn't a Ford. He would serve the role for nearly 8 years before a jealous Henry II kicked him off to the curb. His career in the auto industry was the stuff of legends. And he ended up moving from Ford over to Chrysler, and like I said earlier, Shelby followed him over to Chrysler as well. So in 1990, the I-75 Ford Fog disaster unfolded in a series of multi-vehicle collisions involving an astounding 99 vehicles.
Is this one of them here?
No, that was I have that one out of position. GM announces in 2000 the end of Oldsmobile. At the time, Oldsmobile closed its doors in 2004, but this week in 2000, GM announced that they were going to end Oldsmobile. Broke my heart. I could tell you where I was when it happened.
Just like Elvis, when Elvis died.
Well, I couldn't tell you where I was when Elvis died.
I can.
You could tell me where I was when Elvis died?
No, I can tell you where I was when Elvis died.
Where were you when Elvis died?
I was at Padre Island.
Partying.
Wow. Yeah, that's what it was, yeah, partying.
But, in 1990, the I-75 fog disaster, 99 cars involved in a fog accident.
Okay.
And I know that's happened here in Houston through the years as well. Not that many cars. That's This Week in Auto History.
Very good. Thank you, sir. General Motors subsidiary Cruise fired 9 employees Wednesday as a result of an ongoing investigation into the October 2nd self-driving crash involving a pedestrian and the company's subsequent actions. The departures included COO Gil West and Chief Legal Officer Jeff Black. According to a source familiar with the dismissals, they also included the company's head of government affairs. A Cruise robotaxi ran over a pedestrian who had been previously struck by a human-driven vehicle in San Francisco on the night of October 2nd. After the robotaxi stopped, it started moving again and dragged the victim 20 feet, according to California's Department of Motor Vehicles.
What was that? I just run over.
Further, the DMV said Cruise vehicles officials admitted and misrepresented key circumstances regarding the crash in meetings with state regulators. The DMV indefinitely suspended Cruise's driverless permits. As a result, Cruise idled its national fleet of hundreds of cars. Co-founders Kyle Vaught and Daniel Kahn resigned in November, and the same thing happened to the fleet that was here in Houston. Off with its head.
It fired the wrong person.
Epitome of a drag queen.
Probably so. But whatever the case may be, All I can tell you is that there was a large fleet. They had a block down in the Montrose area, as a matter of fact, close to downtown, where most of them did their business. And
same thing.
And all of them were there, parked. I flew over it not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, as a matter of fact, and they were all parked. And the locked the gate, and there they all are.
Wow.
So I'm sure that
another $1 million disaster by
billion.
General Motors.
Yeah,
GM.
billion. We kind of highlight every once in a while bad dealers. What was thought to be an up-and-coming dealership group of single franchise stores has imploded, leaving litigation and shuttered showrooms. This is a story from Automotive News. This fall, Stephanie Morris Nissan in Sedalia, Missouri, and Stephanie Morris Nissan in Durango, Colorado closed. Stephanie Morris bought both of the dealerships just more than a year prior, according to the acquiring the Missouri store in March and the Colorado store in April. The phone at the Missouri store rings unanswered, and its most recent Facebook post was in July. Missouri federal court lawsuit filed November 6th. Floor plan lender Equity Bank is attempting to recoup more than $2.5 million in unpaid loans from the Colorado and Missouri stores and from Morris and her husband, Chad.
They're looking for Stephanie now.
Who personally guaranteed loans of up to $3 million. The bank determined that 75 vehicles being used as collateral were missing, representing $1.8 million in inventory, according to the complaint. Situation at the Missouri store worsened, according to Equity Bank, as more vehicles disappeared without explanation the day after its audit, while the store failed to return any of the collateral and remained in default. It seeks an order directing the local sheriff to seize what vehicles are left, including their titles and keys, as well as damages of $2.5 million.
And they found all electric vehicles was all that was left because the batteries were all dead and they couldn't drive them away.
And Penske Automotive agrees to buy 15 premium brand dealerships in the UK from Rybrook Group. Dealerships in the acquisition, if completed, would include 4 BMW, 4 Mini, 4 Volvo, 2 Land Rover, and 1 Porsche dealership. The stores generate about $1 billion in annual revenue.
Like he needs the money.
Well, apparently he does a pretty good job at stores.
Penske, and there's Penske stores here in town, and they're very well-run stores.
Yeah. All right, time now for a quick break. We're going to wrap up today's show right after these messages. Stay with us.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla Restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeartRadio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeartRadio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
Well, that's it for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Here's your invitation to follow us on Facebook. Give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our stuff. We'll keep you posted on all things automotive all week long, including new car reviews, upcoming events, cruise-ins, racing, and car, truck, and SUV goodies. When you need a car fix during the week, you can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 via the iHeartRadio app. We live stream this show on Facebook, YouTube, and on InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 a.m. Central Time. Daily 30-minute podcasts are available on your favorite streaming provider. There's a new episode every day. Thank you, Mr. Mars. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing, Advertising Advisor, and Video Technical Director is We Need More, Jeff Zekin. For Booking Agent, Do It All, and Head Potentate, Mike Mars. Wow. Mr. Know-It-All, His Royalty King Conrad DeLong, and Chief Engineer David Ainsley. I said that already.
Yeah, you always do, yeah.
I'm Don Armstrong. We hope you join us for another live award-winning production of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, our Christmas show next Saturday, December 23rd, 2023, on all of our In Wheel Time Car Talk outlets. Have a great weekend and stay safe out there.